Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome one and all. Today is August 2nd, 2022. This is episode 105 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture, so you don't have to. Like the little box says, I am CQ. I am your pop culture warrior. And with me as always is the guy you know and love. He is the voice of all the unpop cultured out there. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big warm welcome for the return of Mr. Radar.
Hi, Radar.
How's it going, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. What do you say? What do you hear? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm fucking awesome.
All right. Oh, man, do we have so much to go over?
Oh?
So much. Are you ready? It is Tuesday night. It's game time, baby. Showtime.
Let's make it good.
Let's make it good. How hard is it? Just make it good. Just make it good. Sorry about it. All right. So, real quick. Hi, everybody in the chats. Welcome to the show. Who we got out there? We got Heath and Jen and Charles. What's up, guys? I see Jim. I see the sports bar hanging out, man. What is up, guys? How y'all doing tonight? Give us a shout. Let us know where you watching from. You know, state, house, home, school, work, the couch. What is good? Hey, Rob, checking us out on YouTube. Don't forget, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places. We're live everywhere. So thank you. Thank you for coming on out. The sports bar says we coordinated tonight. How cute. There's a little bit of coordination.
I was looking really forward to wearing this shirt because I had to go down to Carson. Well, I didn't have to. I chose to go down to Fort Carson over a couple weeks ago. And I there's a really cool brewery there called Red Lake Brewery.
Yeah.
And there's a little cannon instead of the Colorado. I like cannons better than I like Colorado.
Oh, wow.
So
wow. Let's see. Jen says she's sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Fixing to head to work in Atlanta, Georgia. God bless, man. Have a wonderful night at work. We will miss you. Hopefully.
Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Mary says, new Army mom watching from Nebraska. Well, congratulations, new Army mom. I don't know to take that as like a person in the Army who just became a mom or the mom of someone who just went into the Army. Either way, welcome. Very excited to have you here.
Absolutely.
Brian says, this is finance class? Yeah. You know,
Ooh,
we'll go
you
over
don't want to
some,
take.
we'll go over
You want to take finance classes from me, buddy.
We'll go over some numbers. Hey, Pete. What's up, Pete? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Who else? Oh, you guys. Heath watching from my game chair in Mississippi. Mary said my son is in AIT at Fort Gordon. Oh, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Good for
I
you.
went to Fort Gordon.
Fort Gordon.
Not for AIT. After I got blown up, they sent me to Fort Gordon.
Oh, man. Everybody's coming in. Hey, Billy, what's going on, man? He says he's driving home. Drive safely, please. Drive safely.
Mm-hmm.
Beth, what's up? ACQ, what's up? How you doing, Beth? Good to see you guys. Man, we got so much to talk about tonight. Not that I don't want to say hi to everyone. Please keep the warm stuff coming. But we have so much to talk about and so little time to really cover it all. So I want to dive right into it. We do have an interview later tonight. It is a pre-recorded interview. It's somebody I got to speak to a couple weeks ago. And we never got around to releasing the interview. So now we're going to release it. So that'll be later tonight. Great actor by the name of Chris Brochu. He's in the movie Zero Contact, starring opposite Sir Anthony Hopkins. We talked to one of his co-stars a couple weeks back. What was his name? Christ, the name strikes me now. But anyway, Chris Brochu, great guy. Bit of he's an army brat. He's an army brat, which is a great story.
Really?
I'll let him tell his story, but it's absolutely fun to watch. Hey, Rob, Alexandria, Virginia, drinking beers. God bless.
beers.
Do it responsibly. That's all we ask.
Yes. Don't
Enjoy
do it if
yourself.
you're driving home. Who is driving home? Hopefully they're not drinking beers as well.
No,
That's a
no.
horrible idea.
No.
Do we have a safety brief on a Tuesday? This is great.
To enjoy the show, we have the following safety brief. Oh man, we got so much stuff to talk about. Comic-Con just happened. San Diego Comic-Con happened. They released so much. We won't even have time to cover it all, but we'll talk a little bit about it. Also, the reason we didn't have a show last week, I was on Family Feud. So we're gonna be talking about that. I want to tell you all about the scene. How cool is fucking that?
That's pretty tight, dude.
I was telling Radar earlier.
You should have fucking put it on your shirt and not said words about it.
It's just like, hey, welcome to the show. So we'll talk about that. They were just saying they don't do nicknames on name tags. They always put people's real name. But for me, they did an exception. Like, it's not a name, man. It's a brand. It's a way of life.
It's a brand.
CQ is a way of life.
It'd have been funnier, though, if they would have actually branded you.
There you go. You want your brand? All right. But first, before we dive into all that, I have to hold up my end of the bargain. There was a post not too long ago, a couple days ago, US WTF moments and WTF Nation Radio, kind of poking fun at a recent movie released on Netflix called Purple Hearts. And jokingly, because what they had said on the post, like, oh, should we make CQ and Radar, review it and talk about it and watch it and review it, whatever. So jokingly, at the time, I think there was like 3 likes or whatever it was. So jokingly, I was like, well, if this gets 100, likes or whatever, I'll review it, or I'll watch it and give it a review. Boy, howdy, did you guys show up in force? There's like 400 reactions or something like that. And so I had to watch the movie. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to talk about this movie. Now, normally I don't do spoilers.
We're doing it now?
Yeah.
Because we have some questions from the audience.
We have questions from the audience? Oh, boy.
What does Steve Harvey's mustache look like up close? Is it as majestic as it seems?
We'll talk about Family Feud right after.
Well, you just talked about Family Feud.
I know. I teased Family Feud. I teased.
You're such a tease.
I am a tease. So we will talk about Family Feud right after. I have to hold up my end of the bargain. I said I would review the movie. I would watch the movie. I fucking watched the whole goddamn thing. I did it. And now you're going to hear me talk about it. Because this is what you wanted. You guys liked, I think that post got shared more than anything that week. like 40 something shares.
We had more post engagements on that. It's like, hey, do you want CQ to do something dumb? Everyone we should do that every week.
You know what? This is on you. This is on you.
On
if
me?
You don't like it, not you, the audience.
I'm like, this had nothing to do with me.
I'm sure you shared it too.
I did.
Anyway. So Purple Hearts. Let's real quick.
Yeah. Like Scott said, next time make it 1,000.
Yeah, next time it's like a 500 or 1,000. Yes, you're right. I should say I meant to write 1,000. I was just a zero. Like one of the zeros. It was a typo, but that didn't work. Anyway. Okay. So first off, I think the description of the movie is misleading and one reason I was so not looking forward to actually watching it is because it says very clearly this is a musical, romantic, whatever, dramedy, drama comedy. So right away, I'm like, musical. Oh, God, they're going to be singing and dancing, and there's going to be choreography, and it's the whole thing. It's not a musical in that sense. There are some, the one character is a singer-songwriter, and so she sings songs in a few, at a bar, she's singing. But it's not like when I hear musical, right? You get the idea that there's gonna be singing and dancing, and it's like a whole thing, and everybody like no, she's a singer, and there's a couple scenes where she'll sing like a quarter of a song or half a song, whatever. So right away, it was already better than I anticipated because I was anticipating a full blown musical. So it's already better than that because it's not. If I'm being honest, it's not a bad movie. It's not. It's not a bad movie. Here, let me. Here's the thing. Right now, it's trending #1 on Netflix.
That does not matter at all, sir. That does not matter. And I think this might be partially your fault that it's trending so high. Because I didn't hear shit about this fucking movie until you said words about it.
You're right. Fair enough.
And then all the WTF Nation didn't know shit about it.
I'm
like,
sure.
Do you want CQ to watch a stupid fucking movie? Absolutely we do.
I'm sure.
And then everyone liked and shared and commented on the post, and it was trending and all kinds of shit.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened. That WTF Nation Radio made this movie, this unheard of movie, become #1 in the nation on Netflix.
Absolutely.
No, I don't think that's the
case. We gave it that bump.
I don't think that's
it might have been #3.
No offense.
We gave it the bump.
No offense to the WTF Nation faithful out there, the fans. I just don't think that came from us. But I will say this: it's not a bad movie. But I want to clarify. I think for what it is, the cinematography's good, lighting's good, the camera work's good, costumes, locations, like the world that they've built is good and it's shot well. There are movies you watch where you're like, oh my God, like too much lens flare, or oh my God, like this is so out of focus, or there's too much shaky cam, or whatever it is. Like, I think fundamentally, when you like break it down into pieces, they're good pieces. What makes it hard for me is that while the story is believable, girl who's been on her own for so long, finds out she has like 6 months ago, she found out she got diabetes, like the real bad kind, like the fucking fall down and die kind. She doesn't, she's a bartender / Uber drivers or door dashers / whatever, doesn't have enough money to pay for her medications. One of her friends is in the military and jokingly is like, well, you could marry a guy and get the benefits. And then there's a guy who's in deep with some people and needs a way to pay off this debt. And he's about to get deployed anyway. So he's like, fuck it. Like, we could get married. I'm going to be deployed anyway. It doesn't matter. And then I get a little extra money that lets me pay off my debts. You get a little extra money and benefits to take care of you. Like, what's the worst that could happen? So while that is plausible, and I was like, all right, I'm along for the ride. I'm going to believe it. The movie is just so fucking predictable. It is so paint by the numbers predictable. My wife watched it. Me and my wife watched it together because, it was romantic. And literally like 15 minutes into the movie, I'm like, they introduce a character. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to die. Like, that's just for sure. Like, just the words that he's saying, he's definitely going to die. And yeah, he died.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I was gonna say spoilers.
Spoilers for this.
Nobody's gonna watch this. Nobody here.
Everyone's watching it. According
nobody
to you.
here is gonna watch it. All right. No one here is gonna watch it. It's not a true story. Billy, I see your question. It's not a true story. But it's I mean, I guess relevant in the sense.
It's based on a true story, because I can tell you because I was in the Marine Corps, and I can tell you about 30 fucking Marines by first name that did the exact same. Maybe not in trouble with some people who needed money. Yeah. They just didn't want to fucking clean their barracks every Thursday night. They didn't want to have field day shit no more. So they're like, fuck it, I'll marry a stripper. Bye, I'll see ya.
Yeah.
I'll marry this bitch who has diabetes. Whatever. Nothing.
So anyway, it's
Marines
not
do that shit. I did that shit as a Marine.
It's not based on any specific true story, but I'm sure there's a lot of people going to be like, whoa,
fall into a category.
Yeah, like those are elements I find I connect with. I will say this. And
yeah, Scott, that's right. They made a movie where person's sole reason for marrying someone is TRICARE.
that is basically what it is. That's basically what it is.
Exactly what they did.
So first of all, you can't. Well, yeah, I'm not. Okay, you know what? Everybody's okay. There you go.
Hey, we're all dude. We're on your side.
Spoiler
I'm
alert!
on your
I'm
side.
putting it out there. People saying, if you don't want to hear about this movie, then don't listen. I'm being forced. I'm doing this against my will. Blink if you need help. I'm doing this against my will. All right, I don't want to be doing this.
You lie. You like it.
Listen, and like I don't. Okay, and the movie has a very hard lean to it in that I think it's aimed at women. I do think it's aimed specifically at women. I mean, obviously, right?
Yeah, they're
musical
saying,
romantic
go marry an
comedy.
army guy to get fucking go marry a soldier or a marine to get TRICARE and get your diabetes taken care of.
But and here's why I say that.
All right.
You know, this chick, oh, I'm the rough and tough chick and I don't need anybody. And here's this Marine who's like, hey, it's an easy way to make some money. And I'm like, all right, I'm cool with it, right? That's a 50-50.
I get it.
And then there was a lot of like this, she's like, I'm not going to change. And then like, but like he starts changing. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, it doesn't seem 50-50. And then I'm going to spoil the movie right now. I'm warning you, I'm going to spoil the movie.
Spoil the shit out of it. No one cares.
All right? It portrays this as a happy ending. But here's what happens, okay? He gets blown up in Afghanistan or whatever. Survives, little, you know, scars, whatever, but like doesn't lose anything. So like now they're forced to like keep the ruse going because of, you know, he's under scrutiny, whatever.
What ruse?
The ruse, the fake marriage. Like they have to.
But why? What ruse?
There's a
hold on, because I saw the trailer and they're like, everyone's watching us, and we gotta be so secretive. Nobody gives a fuck, B.
Well, nobody
fucking cares.
In this world, everyone is
in this
suspicious
fucking
of
imaginary.
Everyone.
That sounds like the most unrealistic part of this movie is other Marines giving a fuck why that dude got married.
Well,
just saying,
she earns the the ire of some Marines because they're all like, "Hoorah!" and we're gonna go, you know, kill some Arabs. I'm literally quoting the movie. This is not me. I'm quoting the movie, and she's all like, "How dare you!" and like she gets all uppity about them, and so like the Marines already don't like her. You know what I mean? So like she's on radar.
But they don't give a shit.
The whole thing is like the guy's father was an MP. Now look again. This is how you have to suspend disbelief as someone who actually served. Because he's like, my father was an MP. He would totally turn us in. Like that's the whole thing, and that's why they have to make it look legit.
Really?
Yeah. Again, you have to. Me and Radar were talking about this earlier, and I said this was obviously not written by people who actually served. Because anyone who spent time around Marines, at no point did they say "oorah." Not once in the entire movie, and all the training and all the running around and all the deployment and all that. Not one "oorah" in the movie, which already tells you they don't know anything about the Marines. Anyway.
Yeah, because that's how like some Marines answer the phone.
Basically.
I'll vouch for it.
But here's the thing. Again, it's supposed to be a happy ending, right? Long story short, they get busted. Oh, and it's so stupid. Because why did they get busted? The guy's former drug dealer, who's been paid off, decides to like throw him under the bus, right? And so, which first off, what army IG is going to be like, this drug dealer just told us that his former client's marriage is fraud. Let's bust him. Like that just sounds.
I'm trying to think. Okay, of me. I'm trying to think as me. Okay. Staff Sergeant Radar sitting here, right? Just minding my own business.
Yes.
And someone calls me and is like, "Hey, one of the boys in your squad got married to this chick, and it's a sham marriage." I'm like, "So?" And then hang up the fucking phone. That's it. That's literally what I.
80% of the marriages in the military.
Is that bitch calling me? Is he fucking? Did he get a DUI?
Yeah.
Did he beat her up? Nope. All right, tight. Bye. See, probably better because he's probably less likely to get drunk and beat his wife.
Yeah.
Tight. Bye. See ya. Beep.
So what irritated me the most, like I was like, all right, I'm gonna suspend disbelief. I'm going with it. I'm about halfway through it. I'm like, all right, let's see what they do. It's a little obvious and it's a little predictable, whatever. But they get to the end. They get busted, right? They get caught. Obviously, we knew that was humming. there's a moment where they're like, okay, he's going to stand military trial. And he's sitting in the courtroom and he's all dressed up. And then she shows up and, they're like, if you're sentenced, you can go to jail and you'll be fined and all these different things. And, she could possibly face charges too. And now at this point in the movie, they've really started to fall in love with each other, even though they're from opposite worlds and they, butt heads. They're actually starting to fall for each other. So what does he do? The lawyer, I swear to God, the lawyer looks over at the guy. He goes, listen, just shut up. I think we can win this. Those are the lawyer's words, right? He's like, shut up. Just don't say nothing. I think we can win this. Like, we got a good chance to win this. And the guy goes, I want to make a statement. And the lawyer's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Tell him. And the lawyer's like, hey, my guy wants to make a statement. He stands up. What he does? Yes, I'm guilty of all these charges. She had nothing to do with it. She knew nothing about it. She didn't know this was against the law. I don't want anything to happen to her. I take full responsibility. Which, again, that's why I said I think it skews towards women, because this was all her idea. This all came from her. Like, obviously, he jumped on board with it. He knew the consequences and things like that, but this started with her. She came up with the whole idea.
It was her fault. We can all agree it was her fault.
And then now she's becoming a famous, semi-famous, like, singer-songwriter because of songs she wrote about him being deployed. So now she's getting famous because of him, right? And now she faces no consequences because he takes the full. Does she stand up in court and go, no, I love him and we have a. No, she sits there and goes, that sucks. And he takes the fall. And he goes to prison. He goes to Leavenworth. Whatever, it's like 6 months or whatever. He doesn't. But like the whole point is like, oh, it's a happy ending because he goes off to prison. She's like, I'll wait for you. I love you. We can make this work. Right? And at the end, they show him like him and her on the beach and everything. Happy ending. But here's the thing. My man lost all his vet status, his benefits. They're going to have to pay all that money back, right? They're not going to be like, well, we just paid you a year's worth of hazard duty combat pay for a spouse.
He's still going.
You got to pay all that shit back. He's lost all his benefits. He's going to be practically unemployable, right? For serving time in Leavenworth military prison. And what? She's going to support them on the like she's got like, they're like, oh, I might have a deal to release an album. So like what? She's now supporting him and her medical bills and all that on her possible music career. Like they're fucked. They're fucked. Like call it a happy ending all you want. They got no chance. She faces no repercussions for all of her actions, which she did some shitty things throughout the movie, and like I'm just like, come on. Like what? Anyway, so there you have it.
He said what?
It's not a bad movie. It is predictable.
It sounds bad.
It's predictable and
sounds bad.
Like 75% of it, I was with it. I was like, all right, cool. It's a nice, cheesy little romantic thing. But then the ending ruined it for me because it's like, guy takes all the blame and goes to fucking prison for her, and she's like, I'll wait for you. Like, fuck you. Like, you wait for me. Like, who knows what they're doing to him in military prison? My God. Anyway.
Yeah, but they're still married, so they could have conjugal visits.
I mean, but are they though? Because like
they never got divorced.
But the military doesn't recognize their marriage. That's the whole reason he's in prison. They don't recognize his marriage. So anyway, whatever. There you go. That is a review of the #1 movie on Netflix right now. Somehow.
Well, good for them.
Here's the funny thing. Netflix paid $200 million, not for this movie, $200 million for The Grey, which is with Chris Evans and what's his face? The other guy. Made by the Russos. They paid $200 million for that movie. That was #1 for 8 days. And now comes Purple Hearts to dethrone it, which God knows how much they paid on this movie. And yeah. And I just, man, I would love to hear
sorry about it.
I would love to hear like a female's opinion of this movie. Like I want to hear like a civilian woman's opinion on the movie, and then also like a military woman's opinion.
Should have my wife
like
watch it.
Yeah, like have a military spouse Watch
Okay,
that
well,
movie.
hold on. In all fairness, my wife and I got together after I got retired. After I was retired.
Same.
So,
well, close. Yeah.
She might have kind of married me for some reason.
She might have. Yeah.
No, I really think she generally she
more or less. More or less.
But she's like, well, fuck yeah, Tricare is all right. This is all right.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
bad.
She didn't. But in all fairness, I mean, because she doesn't understand. She knows a little bit about it, and like when I have buddies over, or I was hanging out with Ice and I bullshitted for about 5-6 hours at this little bar, right, hanging out. And my wife's sitting there like listening to stories, and she doesn't, like I said, she and I got together after I got out, so she doesn't know like the military spouse kind of role,
the whole dependent thing.
So it might kind of be, she might have a really cool, because she knows some of it now, and I've explained things to her as we do things, right? I drove around Carson. We went on base, went to the PX and the museum and stuff. And she's like, well, how does this go? There's a school? Yeah. What do you think? Fucking kids got to go to school. But I mean, she'd never been on base. She'd never been on post before. She didn't know any of these things. Yeah. So it was kind of neat to her to do that. So she might have a really interesting partake on it.
Yeah. I'd be happy to listen to that. I'd be happy to hear.
They paid about $350 for Purple.
$350. $350. All right, let's take off the spoiler.
Heath's like, she said, sorry about it.
All right.
God, I wish I would have said that. Just somebody. I always want to see some show. I was like, fuck, sorry about it. And just be like, done with it.
I might be able to make that happen. We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's done.
Make that happen.
That's done.
Oh, you say it's done like it's a bad thing.
I'm behind it. They're putting that behind me.
Why would you want to put that behind you? It sounds amazing.
Something fun to talk about.
Oh?
I teased this a while ago, but we have...
You were on Family Feud.
This first.
Oh, yes.
These are our brand new dog tag. I'm trying to catch the light. Dog tag challenge coins. Pop Culture Warrior. And on the back, it says... WTF Nation Radio. Very cool dog tag. You can put them on keys. You can put them on a necklace. You can put them on, I don't know, carabiner in your backpack, whatever. Literal dog tag. You can put on your dog tag. But these are now available for sale. They come in these nice, nifty little packages, and I can send them out to you. If you guys want one, they are still figuring out the price because I have to account for shipping. But they'll be reasonably priced. Like we're not making money on this. I'm breaking even on these. So send a message to one of the pop culture pages, either the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. One of our social medias, Pop Culture Warrior, and let us know, and we'll get your information, and we'll let you know how much it is, and we will send them out. My wonderful patrons on patreon.com/popculturewarrior have already gotten a few of them, and we have special things like if you're a Patreon supporter for 6+ months, you'll get one for free, things like that. So very cool. Radar's gonna have one. I'm sending out one to Radar.
And I'm gonna buy some extra ones because I do things and like, oh god, I can just hand them out to people and stuff. I'm excited for them.
Polished gold. It's beautiful. Very shiny. It's got my fingerprints all over it, but it's very shiny. You won't get this one. You'll get one still wrapped up. All right, so that's that. Scott says, hang him off a piercing. Yes. You send me a picture of that, I will refund your money. You can have one for free. You send me a picture of it hanging off as a piercing. Okay, let's talk about what people want to talk about.
Don't say that because you don't know where his piercing is.
That's exactly why I'm saying it. So everybody wants to talk about Family Feud. I should have queued up the music. So yeah, what do you guys want to know? I can give you a little bit of what it was like, and then if you guys have questions, I'd be happy to answer what my experience is. I can tell you right now, I cannot tell you who won or lost. I am not at liberty to discuss who won or lost, how much money the winning team might or might not have gotten, or any of those details. To find out, you'll have to watch the episode, which I believe is going to air Veterans Day, November 11th, later this year. First question from Charles. Is what was Steve Harvey like? That I'm gonna bench that question for a second because I feel like that's gonna surprise some people, and I want to save that. It's a juicy bit right there.
Juicy.
He says I want an autographed one from both of you guys. Well, that's good. I mean, I'll autograph it, and then I guess I could send it to Radar, who can autograph it, and then send it to you. I mean, I guess it's gonna cost extra because of just the extra shipping, but I guess that's feasible.
Yeah, we can do that.
Possible.
I'll sign it.
If you want to pay extra, yeah, like I mean, that's your business. Plus, they're so shiny. I don't know how would you even sign this?
I don't know. Maybe you need one of those like gold Sharpies. They make like gold ones, like a paint pen kind of.
Yeah, probably. But like it's very bumpy. There's a lot of ridges and divots and things. It's very I mean, really well crafted. Anyway, Rob wants to know, did I get any questions right? How do I answer that? Did I get questions right? Like, did they come to my turn? I gave an answer and it was up on the board. I think I can say yes. Without spoiling anything, I can say yes. I did. I won't say how many. I won't say how pivotal it was. But yes, I did say words and they appeared on the board. I don't want to spoil anything because I think it'd be so much fun to watch it. Like we're gonna have here.
Yeah, well, that was the question. That was the question I was going to ask.
Which
is it going to be aired? Because sometimes they film those, sometimes they record those, and they don't air all of them that they film.
This, I am very, very certain. I can't say without a shadow of a doubt, right? Because fucking
right. Because
Steve Harvey dies, they decide not to air any more episodes. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but it is almost certain this will air. The whole point of recording this was for a special Veterans Day episode.
Yes, and so, you were part. Can we say who you were with?
Yeah. So yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great point. So I was there representing Wounded Warrior Project. Both teams were representing Wounded Warrior Project. So you could say, when you ask, "Oh, who won?" Wounded Warrior Project won, because both teams were representing them.
And then whatever winnings went to Wounded Warrior Project.
Correct. Right? Yes, this is a charity thing. We got if we won money that doesn't come to us, that goes to Wounded Warrior Project.
Right. Well, and because the other team was for Wounded Warrior Project, so Wounded Warrior Project
is going to win some funds.
Yeah. It was a fundraising effort for them, and it was that's
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Good. So what it broke down to is, anybody that knows the show, it's 5-on-5, family versus family. So for us, there was a lot of questions like, well, are we going to do like branches, or like how are we going to make it work? What it ended up being was men versus women. That's what, male Wounded Warriors versus female Wounded Warriors. Battle of the sexes. And a cool little behind the scenes thing that I can share that I don't think spoils anything is that everybody knows it's 5-on-5. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Well, they sent 12 warriors, 6 men, 6 women, to tape the show because they said, okay, God forbid, there was anybody that followed me on social media saw like there was a ton of COVID testing before and during. So if God forbid someone tested positive for COVID or slipped and fell and broke their leg, or for whatever reason, they needed to have alternates ready for the male team and for the female team. So as we were there, and I mean, I can go into more detail about like what happens when you're there, but before the show is recorded, before Steve ever comes out, you do rehearsals. You actually, they bring out a different host, like a warm-up guy, and you do rehearsals. So you can practice being at the podium, you can practice the button stuff, you can practice talking, all that stuff. They need heights, and they're checking, how people are doing and if they should move people around, all these different things. Mm-hmm. And during the rehearsal, the executive producer, very, very lovely woman, she was so excited. She's like, oh, I'm so excited you guys are here. We're very excited for Wounded Warriors, blah, blah, blah. And she saw that we had alternates, both male and female. And she goes, I feel so bad that like they're here, but they don't get to experience this. So she goes, hey, you know what? How about this? For the rehearsal, everybody get on stage. Like we literally had 6 people crammed around 5 podiums on both sides. So that way that person could feel like they participated and got the experience and whatnot. So we do the rehearsal show, answer some questions, play some games, blah, blah, blah. afterwards, they take you off stage, and you go to hair and makeup. Jokes, you can add jokes here. So we're doing hair and makeup, and the producer lady comes and she goes, "Oh my God, I love you guys. That was so great. You guys are awesome. Keep it up." She goes, "We're gonna do a change of plans." I said, "Okay, what's up?" She goes, we want everybody on there. We're gonna do 6-on-6 for this show." And we're like, there's only 5 podiums. It gets a little crowded up there. And they're like, "Don't worry about it. You're just 6 guy just kind of hangs off the side." And they mic'd him up and everything. So like every podium has its own mic. He obviously didn't have a mic, so they just kind of give him a little lapel mic. So the funny thing is when the show started and Steve Harvey comes out, he's like, "Hey, welcome to Family Feud, blah, 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 blah." And he looks over to see, he's like, "There's 6 of y'all." He's like, "I don't know if y'all normally watch this show, but it's typically 5-on-5. And the executive producer's like, "It's fine, go with it." He's like, "All right, let's play Family Feud." So it's just like he just went with it. So let's see some questions. Let's see questions.
I can help. Okay.
Yes,
so,
please.
Kaz wants to know were there audience members?
Were there audience members? So yes and no. And here's what I'm saying. I guess since COVID, they used to have they would used to have a live audience of just audience members. Now what they do is, for those that don't know, they'll shoot 3 or 4 episodes back to back to back to back in one day. So now the audience is made up of other people playing the game. Okay. So while my team and the female team are up, in the audience are 4 other families that will be playing in the next episode and the next episode. So those are, and then they also have a bunch of staff, right? They fill the audience with also staff members, producers, PAs, cameramen, whoever. So there is an audience. It is a little misleading, in that for certain shots they're kind of spread out. But then I know when Fast Money came, which is the end, the end to see how much money the team wins. Fast Money's played because they shoot from a different angle. They literally the audience is condensed and pushed to one side so that when that angle is played, it looks like a packed house. But now the other half of the audience is empty because they all packed them up into that one corner. So it's just an interesting little angles thing of what they do. There's also I'm blowing up their spot here, little tiny speakers under everyone's chair where they pump up audience volume. So yes, the audience is there going "Yay!" But there's also some artificial sound being pumped up under them.
Right.
And it's also so that they can hear, because the stage is actually pretty far from where the audience is sitting. So when people are talking into the microphones and things, that's played through the speakers under people's chairs, so they can hear the conversations.
Did they do that before COVID, do you think?
I don't know. What?
Okay. I didn't know if they said. Or...
Fun fact, I'm going to be bringing one of the show's producers and head talent relations guys. I really hit it off with this guy named Bryce. He's going to come on the show. So,
nice. So
possibly,
I can ask him those questions.
You can ask him those questions. Possibly next week, possibly 2 weeks from now. They're filming.
Jen said she doesn't want anything pumped up underneath her.
That's fair. That's fair.
David Cunningham asked, was it taped in Hollywood, or where was it taped at?
It is not taped in Hollywood. It is taped in Atlanta, Georgia, which they say Atlanta, Georgia, but it's not really Atlanta, Georgia.
No, it's some.
I landed in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in a hotel right off the airport. They picked us up, and we drove for 30 minutes out into the freaking boonies. We were joking in the car, what if this is just all a ploy to murder us and harvest our organs? What if Family Feud really is shot in Hollywood and we just randomly got into a vehicle and
we landed in Atlanta, but they're busting us to
and we end up in Terminus and then they're gonna eat us or something.
Right.
Yes. So there's that. I do have one question from the Pop Culture Warrior page. Beth says, did you successfully recruit Steve Harvey for the show? We'll talk about Steve Harvey for a second here. We'll save that. Keith says, "Did you ask about the ghost of Louis Anderson that stalks the set?" No, I didn't. I didn't ask about that. That I definitely not. Are there going to be bloopers? Yeah.
Was it Hapeville? Keith Barlow says it's Hapeville.
Hateville?
Hape. H-A-P-E.
Hapeville. It might have been. I don't remember the exact.
You didn't fucking look?
Dude, there's no fucking sign. We were in the middle of nowhere. There were trees and gravel roads. There weren't exactly. You are in Hapeville.
Okay, cool. I have another question though.
Right.
Was it the same place that Steve Harvey does his other show, his talk show, or do you know?
That's a good question. There were 3 different sound stages.
Okay.
We went into one of them. I don't know what were the other. I should have asked that question. We can ask Bryce when he comes on the show.
Bryce.
Save that one.
I'm asking. I have all the questions.
You have all
Bryce,
the great.
You didn't fucking do it.
I was a little lost in the moment. God damn it.
Because that'd be cool if you guys could like migrate over. Like, okay, you're done with Family Feud. Let's go over to the talk show and you guys can hang out. Because you guys were already obviously vetted.
Yes. Yeah.
You were already there.
Yeah.
You already had all your COVID tested and all that other stuff.
That's probably a whole different production, and they're probably not shooting at the same time.
Did they bus you to Fort Benning?
Like, oh, we just re-enlisted. We signed up.
Turns out those were actually hangars at the airfield.
Those weren't NDAs for the show. Those were re-enlistment paperwork. Jim wants to know. Jim and Billy want to know. Am I going to make are we going to be in the bloopers reel? I will say. There were some answers said out loud that shocked me. That I was like,
are they going to be TikTok famous?
I was like, how are they going to spin this for the show? Because, it's a family-friendly show. There were some things said where I was like, huh.
Because some of those are like TikTok famous. Are you going to be TikTok famous?
I probably won't. be. But, see, I can't say much.
Like that one, because okay, I'll go that RuPaul one. There's one where RuPaul like has like a very inappropriate. That's right.
Yeah,
and it's like TikTok famous.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because there are very famous lines that have been said, like and they have them up as quotes in the like the catering area. They have like quotes up on the walls. It's very funny. So like one of them, the question was so famous. It was like the question was. Name something that was like something with pork in it, right? And so like pork shoulder, pork loin, pork chop, and the guy goes very confidently, coupon, and they were like, everybody's like, what? Coupon? So what? Steve Harvey's like, what the hell are you talking about? The guy's like, pork coupon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It took everyone a while to get that one. So it's up on the wall. It says pork ... coupon. It's a hilarious. You can find that clip on there. It's hilarious. What other questions? I can tell you a couple things while we're looking for questions.
Well, okay. Well, so we should talk when we talk to your dude.
Yeah.
We should like do something like us versus Black Rifle Coffee or something.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see about that.
I'll bring it up to him because apparently I'm the one that's got to ask this guy the question.
Yeah, definitely. It was again my experience. By the way, I made a whole YouTube. I documented the whole thing, like my whole trip, everything. If you go to the YouTube channel, Pop Culture Warrior on YouTube, I have it's boiled down to like a 5-6 minute video. But I have how cool
were they with you like filming that and kind of getting some behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah, they were cool with it. They will tell you like when you're going through the process, you're not allowed to have your phones and things like that on you. Right. And I told them ahead of time, I'm like, hey man, listen, I do this show. I'd love to capture as much as I can of it. And they were very cool with it. Like I took pictures and video backstage. I took pictures and video on the set.
Because you have
not
them
while
on your page.
Yes, they're on the page. I put them on TikTok. There's a great video on YouTube. There were specific times I wasn't allowed to. So like obviously while we're recording the episode, I can't be on my phone. And then also while I was in the audience during other people's show, obviously I couldn't record. But pretty much I'll give you a quick rundown. Is that, we landed in Atlanta. They put us up in the hotel. We did COVID tests. Next morning, they picked us up, shipped us off. There was a catered breakfast. They even asked like, oh, what do you want? And, that was great. when we got to the set, we had trailers. They gave us Hollywood style trailers. Each of us had our own trailer. Crazy. I gotta ask Bryce because I don't know if they do that for everybody or just because we're a special charity episode or whatever. But we all had trailers. It's great, man. I was lounging, relaxing, having my breakfast, enjoying myself. And then from there, you get a rules briefing. Like they sit you in a room and you learn. Like for those that I guess that play the game, come to play the game, but maybe they don't actually watch the show. They go, okay, this is how this plays. This is how this plays. There are very interesting rules that you'll never know about, not having been on the show. So like I didn't like everybody knows like, oh, you got to put one hand behind your back and one hand on the podium. You know that stuff. But like there's things where like you can't cup your hand, like it has to be flat. Like if you're cupping, like because it gives you an unfair advantage, like you're already kind of there, like you can't hover. Also, you can't raise your hand to hit the button and not like you can't like you're disqualified from that turn. Like
so once you put
lift,
your hand
you
up,
have to hit the button. Like you have to.
No box.
Yes,
no box.
Exactly. Yep. You can't fake. You can't pump fake and things like that. Interesting little like sudden death rules where they're like, if you hit it and you answer something and it's not on the board, and then they get a turn and it's not on the board, it will then go, to process by the next person. But specifically in those cases, Steve cannot repeat the question. Like normally, when he's going down the line asking people, he repeats the question.
Yes.
But because this is the face-off question, due to rules, he's not allowed to repeat it. So you have to pay attention and you have to know and this and it'll go back and forth and sudden death and like all these different rules. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very sweet. And the really cool thing about this game show that I can say versus others is they make it very clear. They're like, look, this isn't Jeopardy. This isn't Wheel of Fortune. Like, you don't need to be smart to play this game. They're like, in fact, they don't say this, but they're kind of like, in fact, the dumber you are, you kind of can do really well at this game. Because the whole point is they survey people in America.
Yeah.
So you have to just think like people in America.
Did you ask how they survey them?
I did. Question. I did actually.
How do they do that? Or do you want to wait till we have the guy on?
I mean, we can ask him, but basically what they said was that they pay a survey company, and that company does emails, they have a website, they do phone calls. So they gather up this data from a lot of different sources. But it's not like, oh, we got this guy at the Mall of America asking random people. Like it's very much America at whole, in the whole. But like it could be elderly, it could be young, it could be male, it could be female, it could be different.
It's just randomly get a hold of a bunch of people,
randomly selected. And so you'll have a wide array. So anyway, so we did the rules briefing. They're very encouraging. They're like, look, have fun. Don't overthink. They're like, literally, don't overthink the questions. But at the same token, they're like, pay attention to the question because, like, as an example, they said, like, you don't want to be too fast to the buzzer because they go, if I ask you, we surveyed 100 people, name something you keep in the fridge, and you answer, you buzz, you go milk. That's the wrong answer. Why? Because if you'd listen to the whole question, name something you keep in your fridge for over a year, right? So like, if you buzz in too fast, you're gonna miss that caveat, that one thing that was really
that you really wanted to know for that question.
Yeah, that was kind of pivotal for that moment. Sorry, Jim says, "Are you gonna do any more game shows? I want to see you on The Price is Right wearing a shirt that says Bob was better." First of all, I like Drew Carey. Who's I think hosting it still right now. But I would love to do Price is Right, man. I grew up on that shit. I would crush it. Price is Right. That's a psychological game. You just gotta mess with people. I don't know. I'd love to do more game shows, but maybe not. So we did the rules briefing. They were super nice. Like I said, they took us into the studio. We got to walk around, take pictures and stuff. We did the rehearsal shows. We did the hair and makeup, and then boom, we're on stage. We're live. And this is where I learned a few things. Things you wouldn't see on the show is the show is 22 minutes on TV, right? Because you minus commercials, it's a 30-minute show. Minus commercials, it's 22 minutes. You shoot a lot more than 22 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think ours was special, and I'll explain why. but we were up there for 2.5 hours. We were on stage at the podium for 2.5 hours. I do think ours went longer because Steve really like lingered in conversation with a lot of us. More so the women than the men, but whatever. No judgment. So the interesting thing is, Steve comes out to do his thing. And like I told you, he's like, oh, wait, why is there 5? And then the executive producer's like, hey, this is the Wounded Warrior Project people. These are warriors. We're going to do 6-on-6, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool. And he, like, I heard him say, like, why didn't anybody tell me we were doing Wounded Warriors? Like, he's like, I would have liked to know that information. So right there, I'm like, man, like, either he, like, they told him and he didn't pay attention, or like they kind of siloed him away from needing to know who's going to be on the show. Either way, I don't know. What you don't see on the show is Steve Harvey's a 65-year-old man. And brother likes to talk. He likes to talk. And like much like a 65-year-old, he tends to ramble in a lot of his stories. At one point, he was like, I was back in my day, and this is my buddy Ricky. And then, like, this guy pulled out a gun, and then, like, but he had a knife, and I went to grab, and they, like, cut my hand, and, like, 15, 20 minutes of this story from back when he was, like, 10 or 11 years old. And we're just all like, uh-huh. Because we're like, what? It's not like we're part of the conversation. We're just standing there waiting for him to stop talking.
We're waiting for him to shut up.
Yeah. And there's a couple times where you'll hear the voice of God. But basically, it's the executive producer on a headset going, Steve, we need you to get to the show. We need you to get back to the show. Can you ask the question, Steve? And here's my other thing that I learned about Steve Harvey. Seeing him on all his shows, very family-friendly guy. Boy has a potty mouth. Woo! Like a sailor.
Good.
It was crazy because I just wasn't expecting it. When you hear, like, they go, Steve, can you ask it? And he goes, shut the fuck up. This is my show.
Yeah,
and you're
I
like,
want to go.
And you're like, what just happened?
Oh, man.
And he's being playful about it. He wasn't mean. He wasn't mean at all. These guys have been doing the show for 13 years.
More, dude.
Yeah.
That makes me want to go see it even more.
He was saying a lot of the people in the show, like, they're friends and family for 12, 13 years.
Right.
But, like, when they're like, all right, Steve, we got to go. He's like, motherfucker, tell me to hurry up one more time. And I was just like, I was like, it was like Steve Harvey doing his best Samuel Jackson impersonation. Like, that's what that was behind the scenes. And at one point, I remember, like, he was telling a story. He's talking to one of the ladies, and it's he looked over at us. He's like, none of this is gonna make TV. He's like, we're just having conversations here. Like, none of this is gonna be on TV. They're gonna cut all. He goes, they're gonna cut all this fucking shit out. And we're just like, okay, Steve.
All right, then.
All right. So, like, usually, he does interviews with, like, each person going down. He spent like 30 minutes talking with the ladies, and now, and much respect to them, they enjoyed it. They were bantering back and forth with Steve. They were giving it as good as they were getting it, and he was loving it. And then he kind of comes over to guys. He's like, "Okay, who are you?" I'm like, "Hey, CQ. I was in the army." He's like, "All right, and you?" Like, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess my turn's over." Like, all right.
All right, boss. See you.
All right, boss. See you.
Thanks, Steve Harvey. Sorry about it.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Did you say sorry about it on air?
Oh man, I should have.
Yeah, you should have.
Somebody offered me $20 if I would say goats as an answer, even if it obviously didn't fit. Like, name a toy you get a kid on Christmas, and I just go goats.
Hey.
I mean,
you're in Georgia. You're in Georgia. You don't know what you get in Georgia for Christmas.
I won't say if I did or did not complete for the $20 prize, but we'll see. You'll see. What else can I say about the show? Yeah. So the thing that surprised me is, and because it's a recorded show, it makes perfect sense now that I think about it. They do retakes. There are situations where maybe Steve messed up a question, and so it wouldn't be fair because it gave one person more time to think of an answer or whatever it is. And they'll basically like, okay, we're going to redo the turn with a whole new question. Something like that. Or or if trying to think of a specific example. Oh, Angie says, when will the show supposed to air? It's supposed to be Veterans Day, which is November 11th. Supposed to be. Once I know for certain, I will put that information out, but tentatively, it is November 11th this year. So a perfect example is in this episode specifically, the team that won, they celebrated. You know, while they're celebrating, Steve Harvey's supposed to do like his show wrap up, right? Oh, thank you for watching Family Feud, and make sure to check out, like, and he had a cue to like go to woundedwarriorproject.org to find out more, blah blah blah. He flubbed the whole thing. Now, it wasn't his fault, apparently, because they're cue cards. The cue cards got stuck, so like a whole chunk was missed, and you literally saw him going like, Steve was like, because it's like, make sure to check out Wounded. Thank you guys. Good night. Like, it's like, he's like, there's a whole chunk missing, and he's just reading very Ron Burgundy, like reading from the cards without thinking.
Yeah.
But so literally everybody's celebrating and doing their thing, and then they're like, guys, can we reshoot that whole thing so that we can get a clean? So it's weird because you got to go back and pretend like, oh wow, you just won, or they just won, or blah blah blah. Yeah, like it's not as authentic, maybe, because you're like, it wasn't in the moment, right? The team won, right. They celebrate, he does his thing, and then it's so they had to retape that whole ending. So it's interesting, you know. Another thing is like, a lot of times, if you're ever watching an episode and someone goes like, you know, like they'll say bananas, and then it'll be like, ding, fruit. Right? They didn't say fruit, but like, and that's obvious enough. But there are certain situations where it's a little vague. And sometimes you go, man, how did they jump from that to that and give them credit for it? Well, what happens is someone will give an answer, right? Hopefully out of context, I'm not giving anything away. One of the questions is like, you know, how do you stave off the hiccups? And so one of the answers, somebody said, you breathe deeply. And initially they got right? They get no, that's not it. But literally the producer comes over the headset like, hey, can we pause? And so we stop the show. They'll literally talk to the contestants. They go, hey, can you explain what you meant? And the guy or the gal, they're like, oh, I mean, like, you breathe deeply, you hold your breath, and they're like, huh, okay. They're like, Steve, read it again. And he goes, okay. You know, how do you do the thing? The guy says, and you have to say the same answer. They tell the guy, like, say the same answer. Okay, breathe deeply. The survey says, and it goes, ding, and it said, breathe into a bag. Okay. Right? Because the producers and the people that are the judges might have took it one way initially, and then
you kind of get to plead your case a little bit.
You can. There's situations where they'll ask for clarification, and then it's right or wrong. In one case, the person mumbled the answer. Now, Steve, being right there, heard what he said. But the producers, being offset and listening in the headphones, didn't quite hear what they said. So Steve is like, is it up there? And like, there was nothing happened. And so they had to pause the show, and they're like, yeah, we couldn't hear what he said. And so there was a lot of discussion back and forth. Okay, let's redo it. So there's situations like that where they have to redo certain shots of the show. So it was just fascinating. I never knew that. Like, it just always seems to go so perfectly, but it's all edited.
Well, of course.
So yeah.
So I was kind of curious of that, like if they had like actual judges or how that worked, because like, oh yeah, the judges give it to you or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? They'll say that shit on the show. I haven't watched it for a minute, but
yeah, no, judges say no. There are judges. There are, I think, 2 or 3 judges, but then there's like 2 or 3 of the producers that are also, while coordinating the show, are also acting as like intermediaries and clarification people and things like that. Steve doesn't have the answers for this, but it's funny because the producer was telling me, she's like, you know, Steve's been doing this like 13 years. Mm-hmm. He's playing the show with you. Like, in his mind, he's thinking what the answers are. Like, he's interacting with you and everything. Like, he's playing the game in his mind and I saw the cue cards, only the questions, no answers.
Oh, he doesn't have any of the answers.
He doesn't have the answers. So he's just as surprised. That's why sometimes he'll be like, that's not up there. And then it'll be like, bing, one person said donkey. And you're like, what the fuck? And like, you'll see him kind of go like, what? Because like he's in his, she told me like in his mind, he's playing the game with you guys. Like, so he's thinking so like there was one answer that he was dead set on like, that's not going to be up there. And, you know, like we're cheering our teammate like, no, it's going to be up there. Because you have to like support him no matter how stupid the answer is. Like, yeah, It's up there. It's up there. And Steve's like, look, I know what I'm talking about. That shit's not up there. Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, ding, two. Like two people had said it. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, you can tell Steve was a little ticked that we were right and he was wrong. And he's like, we don't celebrate two here. Okay. And we're like, fuck you, Steve. We got two. We got 2 points on that one.
We got two, baby. We got two, son.
So yeah. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Any other questions before we wrap up this section?
Not from me, dude. I had a question about the food. Someone asked, how was the food?
Food was good. They like the catered food was really good. And then back by hair and makeup, they have a whole, what do you call it? Craft services. And like anything you could want, they had. I swear to God. Like literally one of the guys comes up and he's like, oh, okay, you guys got like toothpicks? And they're like, boop, here you go, floss. You know what I mean? And like mint snack. Like I was like, oh, I'll just get a bottle of water. And then one of the guys was like, hey, do you guys have like energy drinks, but like 0 sugar energy drinks? And she's like, boop, here you go. And you're like, holy shit, they've got everything. Like whatever you could ask for, they have. And everything from snacks to spicy to treats to like whatever. So that was cool. Like they had, you know, me, I'm a fat boy. I love me some snacks. Oh, great. Thank you, Rob, for bringing that up. Did we get Steve Harvey for the show? My interaction with Steve Harvey was very, very, very limited. Very limited. Like I said, while he was on stage, he definitely spent more time with the ladies than he did with the men. I'll just put it out there. I don't know how it's going to edit together on the show, but he spent a large majority of the time with the ladies on their side of the stage, not on ours. So our interaction was very brief, very limited. He was very kind enough that at the end of the show, he did take a picture with all of us. But like, it was literally like, all right, thank you guys for coming to the show, blah, blah. He's like, all right, and they're like, all right, let's take a picture. We took a picture and he's like, all right, thank you. And he was very sincere. Like he was like, thank you guys for coming. I support you guys, thank you for your service to the country, like all that stuff. But then he was like, out. Like he was like hushed away. And you got to understand for him, he's doing 2 other shows right after us. So he needs to take a break. And like I said, we've been up there for 2.5 hours. Right. So, he's taking a break. So
he was ready. He was ready to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. He was ready to be done. So there was never a moment where I could be like, hey, Steve.
Hey, I got the stupid radio show. Do you want to go on?
Would you come on the show? Trust me, I was waiting for the opportunity, and the opening was never there. But we're gonna get somebody from Family Feud, and who knows? Maybe you never know. Down the road, maybe that leads to something. I don't know.
And maybe it won't.
Yeah,
maybe it won't. Either way, it'll be fun. I'm glad you got to do it. It sounds like a really cool experience. Yeah. Scott wants to know if you had any special gifts for being on the show.
For being on the show, the experience is one.
You got the name tag.
The name tag, which the guy Bryce told me, he goes, we don't typically give out the name tags because so many names are repeatable. Like if your name's Michael or Benjamin, like or Ben or whatever, like they could use those, and these things aren't free for them to make, But in our situation, it was a charity episode and things, and they're like, hey, we want you to have something from the show, so you did get to keep this. I mean, here's the thing: they paid for your flights, they paid for your hotel, they paid for your food. They put you on TV, got a name tag. I mean, at that point, there's really nothing else much they can give you. Typically, if your team wins, you'd have money. You'd get money. Right. And the way it works is if you're on the winning team, you come back the next day.
Yes.
And if you can win 5 times in a row, that's when you win a car, which is in the back of the studio. It's just sitting there. It's pretty funny.
What kind of car is it?
It was a...
Was it a nice car?
No, it wasn't like a nice car. It was like a Toyota RAV4 or something like that.
Okay, yeah,
it's like SUV.
Nicer than what I drive.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, maybe.
Yeah. But okay, so hold on a minute. Now, you said like they come back the next day.
Yeah.
But in real life, they probably just film it again and again and again, right? Because
No.
normally, if you normally would have been there,
Right.
if you'd have been there as the CQ family,
Yeah.
right? And if you would have won, you get to play again.
Right. Yeah. What would happen is,
but they don't bring. They just kind of keep you going.
Right. So that's what would happen.
They record three, four a day.
Correct. Right. So if they're recording 3 episodes a day, then whoever would win, the losing team goes home.
Go. Mm-hmm.
And then there's 4 other families in the audience.
Yeah,
so they would play one of those families. And if they win again, then they play the next family. If they win again, they play the next family, and on and on and on. At any point, if they lose, then the other team. And so, yes, up to, if they're doing 3 shows, you would play up to, if the first family won and won out, they could do the whole winning series in
2 days.
1 day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there would be the first family, the next family, the next family, the next family. That would be the winning family. But you're right. They would go through as many families as they have on the show and then continue on the next day, if that was possible.
Now, other question.
Mm-hmm.
You said they kind of treated you guys really well. They paid for your airfare, paid for hotel, flights, everything.
Yep.
You were covered while you were in Georgia.
And a per diem, which was nice.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's $60. It's fine.
Still, that's not bad. It's better than nothing.
I
better
made
kicking the nuts.
$60. I got paid $60 to be on Family Feud. So,
but if the CQ family went down there, you took the wife and all the family down there to do that, would they do the same thing, or do you have to get or do you know?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. That's why we're gonna have Bryce. We're gonna ask him all these questions. Cause wants to know, does Steve Harvey have a CQ dog tag challenge going? No, he does not. Does not. Now, I didn't have them on me, but if I did, I would have never had the opportunity to give him, unless I threw it at him. There would have been the only way to get it to him was if I throw him.
I think if you would have left it and said, "Hey, this is from us. I really want to give this to Steve. It's a token of my appreciation."
Yeah,
he would have taken it.
Yeah, maybe I can. I'll have Bryce on, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, can I mail you one of these?" Or 2 of them, one for you and one to give Steve. Maybe he'll do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
All righty.
Go in his office.
I mean,
it is 1907.
It is that time. Thank you for listening to my wonderful tale. Like I said, if you want to see footage from this whole ordeal, go to our YouTube channel. There's a CQ Goes On Family Feud episode on our YouTube channel, and it has all the recorded stuff of me doing that. There's also, while I was out there, and this is a story we'll pick up another time. While I was out there, I made the most of it. A lot of TV shows, a lot of movies are filmed in Atlanta. They're literally called like Hollywood of the South.
Yeah,
not Hot Atlanta. That's not. Yes, it's called.
Did you see where they filmed Archer?
Archer, the animated TV show. Yeah,
it says made in Georgia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was on the animated street where they filmed Archer. It's a little tucked away, but you can find it.
It's in the danger zone.
Yeah. Anyway, so while I was out there, I took a tour, really cool, a private tour, where this guy took me around all the spots that they filmed Avengers: Infinity War, Black Panther, Captain America, Spider-Man, the Loki series, so much of stuff, including and a bunch of Walking Dead spots. Everybody knows Walking Dead was there, so we filmed a bunch of stuff. Yes, Charles. No, that was the other thing I'll say real quick is Charles, who's in the comments. God bless you, brother. One of our amazing patrons. I figured, hey, if I'm gonna go do this, I'm not going alone. So I took him, all expenses paid trip on the tour, which we found out was called Yollywood, right? Yollywood. It's a Yollywood tour. I figured you'd like that, Radar. I figured that would tickle your funny bone. So we did the Yollywood tour. Yollywood. So it was awesome. That'll be another video that's coming out maybe tomorrow, the next day. I have a whole thing we did and filmed a bunch of stuff. Charles was an awesome guy. Real quick, shout out to Charles, who gave us this incredible gift. He surprised me when we met up for the tour. He made this. He handmade this. This is, it's burned into wood and then painted over. Incredible. Handmade. I love this thing so much. It will have a permanent home. Not sure exactly where yet. I'm going to figure that out, but it will have a permanent home in the background of our show forever and ever and ever. This was so cool. Such a nice gift. Thank you, Charles. It means the world to me that you would make something for a show. I don't appreciate the fact that Radar's name is so damn big.
I love it.
And my little logo is so damn, like, you could have made the big CQ logo and like a itty bitty little tiny little Radar logo. But you know what? I'll forgive it.
I feel like you're splitting hairs right now.
I tease. I love it. I love it so much. And it will be forever in the background of the show as a thank you to you. And all right, guys. So this is what I'm going to do. Typically, we throw to a break. That gives me time to queue up our guest. But hey, our guest is pre-recorded tonight. So we're going to kick it right over to the interview. So let me introduce this, and then myself and Radar, I'll be here. So if you have questions, feel free to throw them in. I'll chat with you in the chats. Of course, I can't answer your questions in the video because, it already happened. Can't go into the past. That would just be silly. Anyway,
that would just, if we could do that, we'd have Steve Harvey on here.
Charles I have another one made for you. Something CQ you would truly like. Man, you crazy. Stop it. You're too kind. All right. Let me gather myself. Well, first, Radar, say bye, Radar. So that way, we'll see you after the interview. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make Radar go away for a second, so I can get into character here. Tonight's guest is an American actor and singer-songwriter. He was born in Washington, D.C. He's appeared in a number of movies and television shows ranging from The Rookie, Dynasty, The Magicians, Notorious, Shameless, and countless others. He's probably best known as Luke Parker in The Vampire Diaries, and he also played Ray in Lemonade Mouth and Timmy Hamilton in Soul Surfer. Currently, you can see him starring in the sci-fi thriller Zero Contact opposite the legendary Sir Anthony Hopkins. So without further ado, let me toss it over to B. Please welcome to the show, Chris Brochu, everybody. Yay! How's it going, man? How you doing, bud?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, I'm so excited to talk to you tonight. With so much to cover. We're gonna get into Zero Contact because I think it's an awesome movie. We had Alex on the show a couple weeks ago. So excited to talk to you. But first and foremost, I got to do my due diligence.
Do it.
For you. What's your military connection?
Well, my military connection is I'm an Army brat. My dad was in the military for over 25 years. Born in Tennessee, North Carolina, lived outside of Fort Bragg, lived on MacDill Air Force Base for a little bit in Florida. My dad worked government contract jobs in California. So I've been on and off bases my entire life. So huge love for the military and for just honestly, I don't think I could be in this situation if I wasn't a military brat, if I wasn't moving all the time and having to adapt and survive and make new friends. And I think it definitely helped get me to where I am today for sure.
Now I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but do you think that, being a military member and knowing what families go through and what the guys go through, especially at a young age, a formative age, do you think having to move around because you have to make friends quickly, you have to almost become a chameleon, right? You have to blend into any environment. Do you think all of that lended to you becoming an actor and being as good of an actor as you are?
I think so. I definitely, I don't think I could have gotten here without it. And, that's life in general, right? I think we go through specific things, and it's nurture and nature. I don't believe in nurture versus nature. It's both things that lend us to make us who we are. So I think a lot of that definitely was beneficial. I think the main thing that's beneficial within the acting side of things is just like the work ethic that I was given as a child, and different expectations that were, expected of me. So, and definitely that chameleon aspect, like going to new places, making new friends, and not necessarily letting all of that be too daunting, and just kind of going into every situation and do the best you can. And, if you make friends, you do. If you don't, it's part of the deal, I guess.
You learn.
That's great.
So I know you were born in Washington, D.C., the state, the capital of the country. Where do you call home? Like, obviously before becoming an actor, when you think back to your childhood, like what's home for you?
Yeah. And actually the DC thing is the one thing that the internet got wrong. I was actually born in Tennessee. I was born in Clarksville.
We're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to fix that.
So what? We'll just let the internet. We can keep as much. If we can keep as much away from the internet as possible, like let's just let it keep going down.
There you go.
Path.
For all intents and purposes, you were born in DC.
That's right.
So where do you think of as home?
So the interesting thing about that is I never really considered any place home. The longest place I'd ever been anywhere was California. So I was there about 15 years or so, which is the longest place I'd ever been anywhere. I always like to say I was born in Tennessee. My childhood was North Carolina. My teenage years were Florida. And then growing up was California. But as far as home is concerned, during the pandemic, at the beginning of the first year of maybe like halfway through 2020, my wife and I had the opportunity to move to Taos, New Mexico. And that's currently where we are. And to be honest, it has the realest sense of home that of a place I've ever been in. And so it feels nice to, after moving around all these different places, to come to a place that really feels safe, secure.
Yeah, it's your little kingdom, man. You gotta, the king of your castle. Let me ask you. So I'm trying to build a foundation here, right? So, who were you as a kid? What were you like? Who was Chris at a young age?
I think Chris at a young age was highly energetic, definitely sometimes cocky kid who. I believe like anything's a possibility. I like grand plans. I like improbable situations. I like a little bit of chaos as well. So I think my childhood was a lot of navigating that aspects of my personality for sure. And growing up to be a man and really trying to suppress some of those negative aspects of my ego and my pride. So that was kind of like the internal, but at the same time, I'm a nature boy. If I have the luxury of a day off, I'll be in the woods or by the river. And that's kind of where I feel at home. Nice. So that's a little taste of
okay.
Younger Chris.
Little off the grid. I like it.
Off the grid. Yeah.
Are you the fisher or the tent guy? Like what are you doing out there?
You know what? It depends. Like, I love backpacking, so I can do anything from being out in the woods for 5 days a week or something like that to bringing wifey along, and we do a cute little car camping in the back of the Tacoma. Whatever works, whatever we have time for.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, you're living it, man. You're living the dream. Last question as we build this background for you. This is a pop culture show. We talk all things, comics, movies, video games, everything. Yeah. What are you a nerd for, right? And I mean, it could be history, writing, reading, whatever, anything. What is your biggest passion?
One of my biggest passions is writing music. I like lyrics a lot. I enjoy acting because it's collaborative. You've got a writer, you got a director, you've got these producers, you got everybody that has an idea based off of this one piece of art, a script. And everybody's got an idea, and we're collaborating. We're trying to figure this out. and I really enjoy that. I also, for my own personal sanity, therapy, expression, it's something I can't really get away from, is music and lyrics. And so that's kind of what I geek out on a little bit, is songs, music, and definitely lyrics.
What are you listening to right now? What's your go-to right now? Give us some knowledge.
I mean, right now it's Kendrick Lamar's new album.
Okay.
I've just kind of been listening to that on repeat. And so I've got a lot of different musical influences, sure. Everything from, James Taylor to Kendrick Lamar to Kanye to sometimes back in the day, a little bit of Taylor Swift. I can find little tasty treats in every single genre.
Sure.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Right. Okay. So, you grew up, you bounced around, you did all this stuff. At what point did you start to realize, okay, maybe this acting thing is what I want to pursue? How did that come about?
So I was in Florida, had to been 15 or 16. And my sister was always very interested in theater, very, very dramatic. And one day this acting school called. I think they were doing cold calls to get students in. And we ended up going for an audition. I didn't get in. My sister and brother got in. And it was kind of one of those things where, whatever, man. I want to play hockey anyway. That's what I want to do. I want to go to college, play hockey. That's good. That's my dream. And one day practice was canceled and I had to take them to acting class. And I was sitting in the waiting room and they were like, do you just want to play in the improv class? I was like, all right, sure. Had a little bit of fun, got some laughs, thought, well, this is kind of interesting, right? There's definitely some vulnerability that is always a part of it. And so when you kind of step out in that vulnerable place and there's some positive reinforcement, it felt really nice. So then long story short, we found our way to Los Angeles, which is its own story in and of itself. And then started booking some shows. So my dad was still working on MacDill in Florida at the time. And my brother, sister, my mom, another mother, and some other kind of students from that acting class, we all saved up enough money to rent a house in Reseda, California for 3 months. And we went out to see if we could, make it happen or just kind of get a taste for it. And we never left. And it was 15 years in California, just on that grind, just auditioning, booking here and there. It's feast and famine. Once I got to be about 22, I had to kind of ask myself, all right, Chris, man, you're on this path. It wasn't anything I ever dreamed about. And I found myself interested and really enjoying the process of it. And so then I just told myself, well, listen, if you're going to do this, you have to aim to be the best at it. Not to assume I am or ever will be, but it's most certainly the goal. And so that's when I started taking acting classes. That's when I started really focusing on the craft, reading books, figuring out what those before me did to pave this path for this art form.
Yeah, there is what's the old Yoda quote? There is no, it's do or do not, right? There's no try. Like if you're gonna do it, you gotta all in. Yes. I love that. I've heard a lot of actors who are like I didn't have a plan B. Like if this was it. I had to be all in to do it. So that's awesome. A lot of actors get classified and categorized: method actor, dramatic actor, comedic actor, character actor, right? Bit player. Yeah. Where do you see yourself? What kind of actor are you?
I think for the most part, I'm a dramatic actor. I've definitely I would love to do some comedies. I've done a couple comedies in the past, which is a lot of fun. There's a lot of freedom in that. But for me, honestly, I'm an actor who does the work, and I believe that the right projects come to me. So I will audition my hardest for every single role that I get. And majority of them I will not get. And that is fine because the right ones come to you. And I believe that's another one of those things. If you are pursuing any type of artistic career, you just have to keep pushing. You just have to put in the work, not worry about what the odds are, not worry about what other people my age are doing. You're on your own path. The only thing you have control over is the work. And if that's what you focus on, the rest figures itself out. I'm very much a believer that the universe rewards you for the work that you put in and your intention behind the work.
Yeah, you have to be ready for when the opportunity is presented, right?
That's
you
right.
have to do what you can do and let the universe sort itself out. I love it. I absolutely love that. Can you tell me, what was that feeling the first time you saw yourself on the screen, on the big screen, on the small screen, like that first time where you're like, man, I did this thing and now it's out there? What was that feeling like?
I'm trying to think of the first one, because it's interesting with acting. Like you can film something, but it might not come out in that order. Like
Right.
It could sit for a couple of years and other projects come out first.
So I see, was it 2007? There was an episode of Unfabulous and Zoe
Yep.
101.
Yep.
The movies
Yep.
Pose Down and Solar Flare in 2008. So when you're seeing yourself up there and you're seeing
Yep.
yourself on these, what are you feeling?
It's just a bit surreal. And I think there's two sides of it. There's the side of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this and that this happened. And then there's the side of the critical and watching myself like a hawk and figuring out, okay, it could have been a little bit more invested there. Oh, I wish I would have known a little bit more about that before that moment, things of that nature. So there's definitely the part of me that freaks out, and it's this exciting, I can't believe this is my life right now. And then there's the other side of, I think anytime you do something that's kind of creative, there's always, you're going to be your biggest critic, hopefully.
Yeah. So I've talked to a lot of actors, and some of those guys that are like, I'll never watch anything I've ever done, or I'll watch it one time and then move on, or I watch it as much as I can. Where do you kind of fall in that spectrum?
I wanted to be the actor that didn't watch anything. But I enjoy, most of the time when I see it, it's at a premiere or something of that nature, or like a viewing with the cast and the director. So that's fun because, you know, when you're on set, you control what you control. You control your performance. You control what's happening in the scene. But once that's done, you have zero control. It's editing. It's everything else that goes into making a film, scoring, things of that nature. So it's, like I said, the collaboration aspect of things is one of the things that I love so much about it, because you couldn't have a movie without, you know, a good director or a good actor or a good editor or a good soundtrack, right? So when all of those things come together, it's this really fun experience. And again, it's that there's that giddy aspect of me, but there's also that critical aspect. And sometimes I'll go back and watch some films that I did in the past just to kind of see how they hold up. But for the most part, I'll watch it once and then I'll take my notes. I'll let that affect me however it does. And I just keep moving on. Not really worry about anything past then.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you, you know, you've been doing this a couple years now, but it's recent enough that I'm sure you can still kind of remember the other side of it. So is there any misconception that you had about doing this as a career from before, like that you learned a lesson after you kind of got into it?
I mean, I'm similar to Alex in that sense, where I was watching your guys' interview and he said the first audition he got, he booked. And it was similar for me. I was in Florida. Pose Down was the film that you mentioned earlier. And I was this flashback of this younger kind of like bodybuilder. And to be honest with you, I would love to watch it again because it'd be interesting to see it, because I can't even fully remember what the storyline was. But after I did that, it was like young Chris playing a flashback, not too much kind of pressure. I believe one of my scenes was like being on a beach, kissing a girl. And I was like, this is fun and this is pretty easy. I think I can do this. And then you go out to California, you get into the big leagues, and you're like, oh, this is proper work. And so I think there's that misconception that if you see a good acting performance, it's most certainly not because it's easy. It is because that actor has put in hours figuring out exactly what makes this character tick and trying to bring you that authentically so that you can actually be connected to that. So that work, that process is something I knew nothing about at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And now, so moving into, you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, I see episodes of The Mentalist and Melissa and Joey, NCIS, CSI, and obviously for me, like the standout is kind of like The Vampire Diaries. That's a big one. You play Luke Parker on the series. What was that whole experience like being there and kind of getting into the grind of it?
Vampire Diaries for me was it was probably the project that gave me peace within the process of acting. I have a video on my YouTube channel that touches this, but essentially with Vampire Diaries, it came at the exact right time. So professionally, amazing show, fantastic fans. I was what was known as a guest star, possibly reoccurring. So I go there thinking, okay, I'm going to do an episode. And if things go well, you do a couple more episodes. Thankfully, the creators of the show and the fans accepted me. And so I got to do 14 episodes over the course of 2 seasons, which was just a huge blessing. But the reason why it gave me peace was because literally right before I got the call that I booked that show, I had gotten the call that I had the, not revelation, but I had the doctor call and tell me that I had skin cancer. So I was mentally dealing with this thought of I'm about to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because I got to have surgery. I got to do all this shit. I'm stressed out. This is just like, is this my life? Then I get the call that I book this part. And literally the same day, or if not the same day, within days of it, I find out that I'm going to have really good health insurance through SAG. I figure out that I'm going to have money to be able to pay doctor bills. There are scenes in that show that I'm getting bodied, getting choked or thrown around, and I literally have stitches in my back, and I've got a suction cup bag that's trying to keep fluid, out of my armpit. And I kept that a secret from everybody on set. I basically told them like I had a surfing accident and, things happen. But anyway, all of these things happened at one time, and it made me realize, because I can, when you look at a spider web or a spider that's creating web, you can kind of backtrack and see what was needed to make it and make the structure of your reality. And to be able to have that feeling of, I'm going to be taken care of. The universe is going to reward my work. Again, if my intention is correct, nobody's perfect, but hopefully we have some aim that is somewhat honorable and keeps our moral compass centered. That was the project for me that solidified, okay, I can do this, and I can do this and be taken care of as well. So it was a big project for me.
That's amazing. It goes back to being right in the mind, and then the opportunity, being prepared, the opportunity presents itself, and you're ready to go. Like that's so cool. And I mean, you've done spots on Shameless, Notorious, The Magicians, Dynasty, like all these really incredible shows. Do you have any standout moments or kind of tidbits from behind the scenes that would be, cool side stories? I mean, I'm sure a lot of things you can't talk about.
I'm like trying to let's pick one project.
Yeah.
For me, I'll go with Recon because that was the last film that I did with Rick Dugdale, who is our producer director for Zero Contact. And behind the scenes for that was one of those projects that I got, and it put the fear of God in me in many different ways because I'm working with Alexander Ludwig from Vikings. I got Sam Neely from oh my gosh, what was the show we just did? Kin.
Yes.
Kin. It's fantastic. And then Franco Nero, this legendary actor. And so every day I woke up scared. I woke up scared that in my mind I was either going to make this movie or I was going to literally be the worst part of this movie and my acting career's done, and that's just how it's going to go. So I woke up and went to sleep with that fear every single day, which pushed me again to just work harder. I'd go to set. I'd do what we were shooting for that day. I'd come back. I'd run the scenes again for the next day in front of, the gas fireplace in Canada, and just putting in the work allowed me the peace of mind. But behind the scenes, the interesting aspect of that film is we shot in some gnarly conditions. We were shooting a World War II period piece. We were in the garb. We were in the snow. We had the guns. We had no gloves. We were at base camps that were made to look like what they would be in World War II. And it was one of those, again, I'm a military brat, but I'm most certainly, I am not, I'm ignorant to many aspects of war and the process of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And to be there, looking at these tents in the snow, looking at what it would have been like, it just blew my mind.
Gives you an appreciation of it, right?
It gave me a deeper respect for everybody that puts their life on the line for a country or an ideology that they believe, and just trying to put myself in those moments was something that stood out to me for sure. And hopefully if your audience, I know it's mostly military, so hopefully they can take a look, and I'm sure there'll be definitely some critical moments because, anytime you're working with experts, people that actually been there's going to be a little bit of that discrepancy, but hopefully the emotionality of it hits home.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually that brings up a good point I want to ask you is there anything that, you've done, you've been a part of that for whatever reason, right? Maybe marketing or just wasn't big enough budget or whatever it is there something that you're super proud of that you wish more people would see or you want? Because now you have a whole audience that's a fan of you and they want to go back. What's that one thing that you want people to see that you've done?
I mean, Recon, I think, is that film for me. Okay. That is it's the best work that I think I've done. And when I've watched it at a couple premieres and festivals. And every time I'm proud of the work I put in, and I'm proud of just the crew, the whole team. Everybody, from actors, directors, producers to the DP, we were all in these gnarly conditions. It was cold. There were long days. And so on set, it felt special. Oh, and it's based off of this book by Richard Bosch called Peace. And so for your audience, I think they would definitely love that read. It's a fantastic book. But so anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent, but please go check out Recon.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're gonna plan like a watch all, we'll figure it out. Everybody's gonna watch the movie. We're gonna watch Recon. Let's dive into Zero Contact because I'm excited to talk about this. And obviously, while we're recording this, it hasn't come out yet. I've seen it. You were in it. But by the time this plays, it will have already been out. But I still want to avoid too many spoilers because there's some very key elements that I think it's a fun surprise. So I don't want to spoil it for those people that watch. But doing this movie, first of all, and like I said, we had Alex on for those that watched that interview. Yep. It's an incredible movie. It is a sci-fi kind of thriller, very voyeuristic in that you're this fly on the wall. You're watching this thing happen. It almost feels as if it's unfolding in real time, which is different for most movies, right? Where we're kind of jumping around.
Yep.
You're acting virtually opposite Sir Anthony. You're Sir Anthony Hopkins' son in this movie.
I know.
How exciting! First, listen. How exciting is it to be like that's my dad? That's my dad.
It's absurd. It's absurd. Like it's one of those things where put in the work and see what happens. Like Alex said, this was an experiment, right? We were these creative individuals, again, led by Rick Dugdale. He's the one that put all this in motion. It's his dream, and he really brought it to life. But again, it was this experiment. It was, hey, man, we're stuck at home. Let's record a film. Originally, he wanted to release it a month or two after. He just wanted to be the first film that was made during the pandemic, released during the pandemic. And we were just on board. What else are we going to do? Let's do this. Like Alex mentioned, a script was written in a crazy short amount of time. We filmed this in a crazy short amount of time. And so it was just such a fascinating to be a part of that, to be a part of the process in more ways than just acting and being on this side of the camera was an experience I'll never forget. Because I don't know if Alex told you, literally every shot that we do was set up by us. Now we had a Zoom meeting prior, maybe a day or two before, made sure that the director and the DP all loved it, made sure the lighting looked good, background, no copyright infringements or anything that could get us in trouble. But when it came down to the shooting, it was literally, all right, Chris, you ready? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, guys. All right, camera is speeding. Sound is speeding. Okay, we're doing this scene. Okay. And then it was like, shut off that side of your brain and then get back into the creative aspect. So from beginning to end, completely unorthodox, but just a blast.
Yeah. And so this was a movie that was produced 17 different countries, entirely virtual, without any person on this entire project, not the actors, the writers, directors, nobody was in the same room as another person during the 2020 pandemic. I mean, it baffles the mind. The writing, how they got it to there, and the writing process, how I mean, it's impossible to wrap my brain around, right? Because better than most, like the amount of work and the amount of process that goes into making a film, making a show, whatever it is, to then say, okay, we're going to do all that over the phone. And you're your hair and makeup, you're your lighting guy, you're the sound guy. Like, does that put more pressure on you? Like, was this easier than typical, or was it more pressure on you for this?
Definitely more pressure. I mean, you can't get around it. There's just more things to do. There's more. I've never been more anxious than backing up all of the footage we just shot and just like praying that everything's there. You know what I mean? Backing it up on 2 different thumb drives or hard drives and just making sure, okay, the sound, everything we just recorded is backed up. We feel good. It was stressful, but again, it's one of those things. It's like, all right, here's what's happening. We're doing this, and this. You're in charge of this. You got to get it done. And once you can wrap your mind around, okay, this is how it's going down. For me, again, a little bit of chaos, I don't mind. I can just jump in and have a blast with it because it's this new exciting experience that, like Alex said, like, yes, let's do it. Let's freaking create something. You know?
That's so cool. How weird was it for you? Because I'm assuming you shot in your own home.
Yeah.
Like, is that a weird thing to be like, you're letting an audience, a worldwide audience, basically into your home now to see what you got going on there? I mean, was that weird for you?
It was, you know what? Not really, because what I did was how that backdrop in in our old place in Los Angeles, how it was set up, I basically cleared the background, and then I got to put what I wanted in there, what I thought would be interesting that also fit Sam's character in a sense, but I also got to give the audience what I wanted them to see as well. So I don't know if you'll, for those of you who watch the film, this will be in the background, and that's just like some art and just different things like that. It was fun to be, again, on that set deck side of things. So it wasn't too weird because I got to be as personal as I wanted to be. And for those who, I don't even know if you can see it, but all of the books in the background, they're all turned, so you obviously can't see the spine of it. But there's one book that has the name Susan on it, and that's my wife's name. So I made sure that one was kind of in the background, just a little.
Got to put your own little Easter eggs in there. Yeah,
that's right, exactly.
That's
exactly.
Awesome. So let me see. I'm trying to frame this question away. A lot of acting is reacting, right? You're in the moment with that person. Sometimes even if they're not on camera, they're off to the side and they're reacting to it. This wasn't that. Alex let us know that, when you're on the Zoom call recording, you had the director, you have the writers, you have the producers, whatever, but you didn't have the people you were working against. How did that change your process and how you approached the acting element of it?
It was a process of making sure that I kept the urgency up, because this is a crazy thing that's happening. Literally, the world could end, putting myself in that mentality, fighting for my family. That's my character's main objective. And assuming and hoping that the other actors are keeping up with that urgency. Because I have to imagine, because like Alex was saying, we had the AD reading the lines, which he did a great job, but he's also not an actor, right? So it's assuming urgency coming through that individual that's reading with me. And it's just, again, it's a deeper level of the suspension of disbelief, where I have to truly believe in this environment, in these circumstances. And I also have to believe that the actors that will be acting opposite of me when it gets all edited together are bringing that same intensity. And I think that's obviously Rick's job to ensure that there's that, because he's directing. But for me, it was just kind of doubling down on that belief of circumstance and environment.
Yeah. And I think there's, having watched it, there's an element of things don't connect, but I feel like it works so well because, you're on a Zoom call and there's a bit of lag and there's a little delay and it just, everything feels just a little bit off, and it works well for the picture and to feel that unease, that uncomfortableness, the idea of, is this person good? Is this bad? Like, I don't know. It's this weird. It's hard to describe. When you first read this script, what are you thinking? What do you like? Are you into it? Are you like, this is weird? I mean, how we're gonna do it? What's going through your mind?
When I first read the script, I think I got up and paced around a little bit and was like, I have to read that 20 more times. Like, I literally have to. And it was kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 23 with Jim Carrey, where like the walls, everything's written on the walls and there's like arrows pointed. It was very much like that for me, figuring out, okay, there's a lot going on in this movie. There is a lot of different, well, I guess I won't say too much. But
things.
There's a lot of technical things that are happening in this film. And again, it is sci-fi in many ways as well. So obviously understanding what my father was involved with, what my character is involved with, and how these other people that I've never met are involved in that situation as well. And again, figuring out, can I trust these people? So it's reading it the first time around was literally that revelation of, okay, I got to do this like 20 more times. And even Rick was like, can you shoot, tomorrow or the next day? And I was like, Rick, give me like at least 3 days. I need 3 days to make sure that I can absorb as much of this as possible.
Yeah.
So it was, it's interesting. And I've probably watched Zero Contact more than any other film that I've ever been in. So, because as I'm going through Zero Contact 2 and 3, I have to go back to 1 to make sure that all of this is connecting and make sure I am fully on top of every little string that goes through these storylines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so there's another thing about this movie that I found so refreshing in this day and age where every movie, everything is very easily digestible, and it has to. This movie just is like, it throws you right into it. There is almost no exposition. Like, it is just, it's like, this guy made some stuff and he's dead now, and you're on a Zoom call, and it's like, whoa. Yeah. And it was very cool because right away it builds in you this suspicion of everybody. Right. Yeah. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who's the good guy here. I don't know who's the bad guy. I don't know what their motives are. Is that something that you, in your performance, you dial into that? Because maybe you're good, maybe you're bad. Like, we don't really know. Maybe you're involved, maybe you're not. Is that something that you put into your performance?
I mean, absolutely. My character, Sam Hart, son of Finley Hart, but very much estranged, never was really a part of my life, and you'll figure this out in the movie. At a very young age, about 9, he lost custody of me, and I basically kept him not even at arm's length, just like was not a part of him at all. He died 5 years prior to the moment where we catch up in Zero Contact, when we introduce all of our characters. So my character, wants nothing to do with Finley Hart, wants nothing to do with Hart Enterprises, wants nothing to do with any of these people. All it has done is caused him stress, chaos, pain in his life. He's at a point now where he has his own family. He feels at peace. And then, of course, the past has to come, and he's got to essentially navigate these old wounds again. So when going through this, I absolutely knew that Sam had to make sure that he kept everybody at a safe distance, and he really had to ask the right questions to see if he could trust anybody. And so I think it definitely works for the viewer. Like, who do we trust? Do we even trust Sam? But for my character, I don't know who to trust. I can't trust any of these people.
Yeah, no, and it comes across so well. Which, by the way, you just gave more exposition than is in the entirety of that movie. So it's great. I feel like I know the movie better now, and those people should go see it now because they know more.
Please.
And so you guys are working on 2 and 3. Is that something that surprised you? Because I gotta be careful. The way the story ends, were you excited at the opportunity that maybe we'll do a sequel, or was it more surprising that you're going to do a sequel? Where do you fall?
I mean, surprising for sure. I mean, Rick called me and said, Sir Anthony Hopkins is involved. Oh my God, that's crazy. Amazing. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Maybe a week later, hey man, Tony's down to do 2. And if you're going to do 2, you might as well do 3. And I'm like, you know what, Rick, again, you're the captain, man. Just tell me where I got to be, when I got to be there, and I'll be there. It was very much a surprise. And for our audience, those of you who watch Zero Contact, A, thank you. And B, when we pick production up again on 2 and 3, we would like to reward our viewers and also the characters in this film we are going to no longer be stuck in a Zoom box. We're going back to conventional filming. We're going to take our audience all around the world. And if you just one taste, we finished shooting a location, Antarctica, in December of last year. And so that's just a taste of where Rick Dugdale wants Zero Contact 2 and 3 to live.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about why you'll be able to shoot in so many places, But are there any? So, I mean, obviously Antarctica. That's crazy because who shoots in Antarctica? First of all,
nobody.
Are there any other places that you'd like to see this go? And locations you'd like to shoot at?
I know of the places, and I won't tell you, but I will tell you that we are going to take you to some of the most beautiful and ancient places that our beautiful Earth has to offer.
That's outstanding. I'll take it. When I was talking with Alex, he wanted me. He gave me a question to ask you.
Yeah.
About what was it like sleeping with a Yeti in Antarctica?
Yeah, totally. And I think that the real question for him is how can he sleep without my presence? Because I think I was the calming presence in that tent most nights. But yeah, no. Alex is just literally a freaking Yeti with a bigger heart than his head. And it was a blast to be able to meet him in person. We've kind of been broing out on Instagram and now we obviously text each other all the time. And he is just a sweet human being. And so was everybody that went to Antarctica with us. But it was bunking with Alex in a tent in Antarctica while we're shooting was I couldn't say a dream come true because it wasn't anything I could have even imagined, but the reality of it could have very well been a dream.
Outstanding. Is there, well, we're here at the end. Any projects that you want to talk about? Anything that, you have coming up that you want people to check out or keep an eye out for?
Right now it's Zero Context, the last project I have. We're working on 2 and 3. I'm auditioning all the time, working on music, and I also teach acting when I'm not being an actor. So those are kind of the things that I'm focused on right now. And
where the social media? Where can people follow you? How can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I drop everything, whether it be news about acting or music or just kind of whatever the stuff that's happening. So anyway, Christopher _M as in Michael _Brochu. You have the little green blue check mark. It's me. Hit me up. Stay tuned, I suppose.
Awesome. And now, for 2 and 3, you're going to have to come back because we're going to have to talk about all the locales and all the craziness, more camping stories and tents and Yetis. We got to talk about it all. Chris, man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. You are amazing. I'm so excited to see more stuff you're doing. I'll give you the last 2 seconds here to say goodbye to the audience, and then we will toss it to a break.
Copy that. Michael, appreciate you having me, brother. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the questions. To all of your listeners, those of you who have served in the Army, thank you for your service, or any of the forces. Thank you for your service. Check out Zero Contact on the 27th. We're streaming on Apple TV, select theaters, and let us know your thoughts about it. I appreciate the time.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll be right back with more after this. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, everybody. Let's bring back Radar. Come on in here, silly man.
Hi, buddy.
There you is.
Yeah, he is.
Wow. What a phenomenal interview with our friend, Chris Brochu. What'd you think?
It was amazing.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. He's just such a down-to-earth, nice guy. Army brat.
Yep.
Right on. Go Army.
Like we're not going to say no to that. Bye. Boo to the Army.
Boo,
no,
Army.
Of course we.
No, absolutely.
And he I think is he our first Army brat we've had on?
I don't think so.
We've had people on who've been in the service. We have had people in who've had family in the service. And people who've had, my dad was in the Army, but not growing up as an Army brat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I recall
my dad was in Vietnam, but that was before I was born, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had a couple people like that, but I don't think we've had
like a born and bred, true Army brat who, even when they were getting into acting, was still was still serving. He was saying like, his dad was still serving even as he was getting into acting. So, what a great dude, man. What a great
Absolutely.
dude.
Absolutely. That was great.
I enjoyed Zero Contact. Again, I saw it, a while ago. I enjoyed the movie. Not something typically I would have went out of my way to see, but I'm glad I did. It's different. And I know when we had Alex on a couple weeks ago, we talked all about the movie and definitely enjoy it. I'm excited to see what they do for 2 and 3. I really am. And, to have Alex and Chris even come back and give us the full rundown would be awesome. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. We'll see how it goes. It's apparently they're shooting like all around the world and it's going to be freaking amazing. So, oh yeah. The actor from Everyone Hates Chris. Amani was from Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm gonna sneeze over here. Just talk to the audience.
What am I gonna talk to the audience when you got to sneeze? That sounds dumb. Just
cover me.
Do that. Just do this.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That's dumb.
That's not dumb at all.
That's dumb.
We don't know if you're Harveying it up or if you're sneezing. I'm still in awe about that. Sorry.
Yeah. That was a great interview, man. I really enjoyed talking with Chris. He was, like I said, he was just such a down-to-earth guy. Really, you could see really put thought into each one of the answers and didn't give, the quick one-liner of like, oh, yeah, it's great, or oh, like really put some heart and thought into his answers. And I loved it. I really enjoyed talking with him. I look forward to our next conversation in the future. With that, what else can we say to wrap up the day? Just looking through my notes here. We talked Family Feud. If you guys missed, if you weren't here earlier, we talked about Family Feud. We talked about Purple Hearts, the incredible movie that's #1 in Netflix in the nation right now.
That's how I know the world is fucked up. Because they're like Purple Heart's #1 and they're making fucking Thor is like the worst rated.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder is the worst rated Marvel movie.
I don't think it's the worst rated Marvel movie. It might be the worst rated Thor
dude. I saw
movie.
that I don't remember. That was like it was a couple different joints that were like bitching about it.
What else? We talked about our new amazing dog tag challenge coins for Pop Culture Warrior and WTF Nation Radio. Reach out if you'd like one. What else did we talk about? Family Feud. YouTube videos up now for that. Real quick, and then we'll cut it. But I just gotta mention, man, like, so much stuff coming out of Comic-Con. So much stuff. They basically announced the entire slate of Phase 5, right? Like, how ridiculous.
Wait, are we done with Phase 4?
Well, Phase 4 is going to end with shoot, what's the next one?
The new Miss Marvel movie?
No, that's Phase 5.
Or Secret Wars?
Nope, that's Phase 5. Shoot. I just completely drawing a blank. What's the next movie coming out? Oh crap.
Quantumania?
No, that's the start of
Or the Ant-Man?
Hang on. Here we go.
The next Ant-Man?
So Ant-Man and Quantumania, that starts Phase 5. If you look at the picture I got up now, that starts Phase 5. And then it goes Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Echo, Loki, Marvels, Blade, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again, and Captain America, New World Order. That's all of Phase 5. So Phase 4 ends with Wakanda Forever. That's the one that ends Phase 4. Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
So that will close Phase 4, which now we know Phase 4, 5, and 6 is called the Multiverse Saga, right? Because Phase 1, 2, and 3 was the Infinity Saga, right?
Right.
And so we're building up to this multiversal end. Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, Keith's right. He says, meanwhile, DC and WB is throwing away entire movies. Yeah, that is a whole train wreck. We could do a whole episode on that train wreck of basically remember we talked about there was going to be a Batwoman movie, and Michael Keaton was going to be in. Like apparently that's been shelved, and they're like not going to do it. Aquaman and Flash, nobody even talked about those movies. Like those are the biggest movies they have coming up soon. They didn't even talk about them at Comic-Con. No. I mean, yeah, it was a mess for DC and WB. There's a question. How much do I need to send for shipping of the coin/tags? Reach out to the page and because there's a different. I hate to say there's one price for Patreon supporters and one price for everyone else. So reach out and we'll get you squared away. So obviously Phase 5, right? Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy, which they showed a tease for Guardians of the Galaxy. People were like crying. It was so beautiful. That's what they said.
Really?
Yeah.
I've kind of wondered if it was going to be good or if it was going to be shit.
A lot of everybody's saying that it looked amazing, and this is going to be a story that centers around Rocket Raccoon and his kind of origin, and this is the last time we will see this group of Guardians. Not saying this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it'll much like the Avengers. This is the last time we're going to see the group this way, basically alluding to either people are going to die or the group disbands or whatever. So that's that. Loki season 2, which we know is filming. The Marvels we know is filming. Blade, Ironheart, who's going to Riri Williams, who's going to be announced or introduced.
But are those are going to be season 5?
Yes, this is all Phase 5. This is all Phase 5. So Ironheart, who she's going to be introduced in the Wakanda movie. Agatha Harkness, obviously coming back from WandaVision. Daredevil, which they announced, is Charlie Cox. They're bringing back Charlie Cox, born again, and really breaking the mold for Disney Plus. Not going to be a 6-episode series. It's going to be like 18 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy for Disney Plus. Did
you see what he said?
He says both of my
Ella
daughters
and Porkchop had birthdays this weekend.
Oh yes, Ella and Porkchop. Happy birthday! Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, happiest of birthdays. Congratulations.
Of birthdays. So happy that's I mean, okay, who am I to shout them out? But hey, I'll do it. Dare me, I'll do it.
I'll help.
Dare me, I'll do it. Yeah. So, and then Captain America: New World Order will be with Anthony Mackie as Captain Falcon. Yep. Captain Falcon America.
Yep. After
that. So
is Bucky gonna be with him?
That'll be interesting. I would imagine so. They can't just drop him off somewhere. But yeah.
I mean, they could.
They could, sure. So the last thing that I'll mention with this, just ridiculous slate. Absolutely ridiculous slate of things.
Go ahead.
What's the question?
Well, no, just you go, and then I have a question for you to follow up.
Okay. The other thing they teased, and remember, they even said, this isn't everything. They're like, this is what we're going to show you now. Then they have a D23, which is like Disney's private convention. That's coming up in September. They're like, we're going to unveil a whole bunch of shit in which, maybe mutants, you know what I mean? Like some X-Men that's going to get announced at D23. But they did said, we'll give you a tease for Phase 6, which they said officially Phase 6 will start with the Fantastic Four reboot, and Phase 6 will end with not one, but 2 Avengers movies. Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars, which for any person that read Secret Wars was such a massive storyline and so monumental to the comics, both the original 1980 run, and then they did like a 2005, 2015, somewhere there. They did another a revamp version. Both of them were pivotal because the original, that's actually where Spider-Man got his black suit, the symbiote. It came from Secret Wars. That was a whole thing. And then when they redid it with Doctor Doom and all that, which I think they're going to take more inspiration from, that had to do with reality being destroyed and basically reformed. So they took all these multiversal realities and made one world with it. And it was like think like a Frankenstein world where all the sections were different territories and different realities, but all within one world. It was crazy. It was madness. So you had like Old Man Logan world in the same world as like futuristic, Marvel, in the same world that you had like Wild West Marvel. Like it was all one planet, one Earth, one existence, but it was a patchwork makeshift. So that'd be crazy to see. And it makes sense, right? If this is the whole phase of multiversal nonsense, it would make sense that we're going to build to a point where this all like caves in on itself. And then there's like a whole Avengers movies of like, how do we fix this broken nonsense? But anyway, very, 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 very excited for all the things that are coming. I can't wait. Like there's so many things. And then they're gonna announce X-Men. Like that's coming. It has to be.
It does have to.
The Young Avengers, Thunderbolts wasn't on that list, but we know Thunderbolts is coming. Like just so many cool things. Keith was like, New World Order for the Captain America, NWO, the conspiracy theorists are going to eat that up. Yes, they are. Some MJs. Yeah, there's so many things. Yeah, and the only thing DC talked about was Black Adam coming out with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Shazam, the sequel to Shazam, which great. Those are good movies. I'll see them, and I'm sure they're gonna be great and they're gonna be enjoyable. But like, when they have all these projects that have been in the work, like Flash, like Aquaman 2, the supposed Joker 2 musical, whatever, all those things that are supposedly in the works, like people are hungry for this content. And they're not satiating these people. It was just announced that the TV series Flash is being canceled. Well, not canceled, but it's ending after 9. Like they're going to do one more season, the 9th season, 13 episodes, and then that's it. Once that show's off the air, DC is off the air. Like all that's left of that Arrow universe is the Superman and Lois show, which never even really connected. It was its own thing. But think of it, all the other shows, Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, Black Lightning, all those shows are gone. So that whole Arrowverse is so at one point you had DC like dominating, movies and dominating TV. It's all gone. So what are they doing? Are they going to do like a clean slate wipe, start over fresh, try to do it better? Which last bit of DC news, because it just happened, is it was supposed to be a secret, but apparently Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman for the Aquaman 2 movie. That was supposed to be a big secret.
Was it? Because that's kind of been floated around.
I mean, it's always rumored, but it was supposed to be a secret until our man Jason Momoa was live on his Instagram or his TikTok or whatever he was live on, and oops, Ben Affleck walks by like what? And he's like, and he totally blew up his spot that he's gonna be in the movie. So so officially WB was just like, fuck it, like whatever, dude. Like they just posted it, like, yep, Ben Affleck's in it. He's just like, whatever. That's whatever. Yeah, Heath. Yeah, Heath wants. Would you like my opinion on DC? Yes, we'd love to see.
Yes, please. Because I'm sure it's probably it mirrors mine.
While he's doing that, Greg says Flash has to be dead in the water, right? If you're talking about the movie, here's the thing. It will release. Even with all the allegations, even with the fact that Ezra Miller's like holed up with some child he kidnapped with guns and gone completely off the rail. Like even with all that nonsense, even with the sexual assault allegations, even with the criminal arrests, the DUI, all the stuff, they have to release the Flash movie. They have to.
Absolutely.
They have
got too much wrapped up into it.
Yeah, they've spent so much money that even if it's a flop, even if people boycott it, even if it makes 2% of what went into it, they need to recoup some money.
They gotta recoup.
They got to get as much back as they can. So if they said, let's say they spent $300 million, not even counting, advertising, which I don't even see them advertising for this at all. But
they got to advertise a little bit. They have to.
Let's say they spent $300 million. Even if box office it comes back and they get 50 or 100, they have to. Yeah, he said I thought there were supposed to be reshoots done forever ago. There were many talks of reshoots and things like that. But at this point, I think they're just gonna stop hemorrhaging. They gotta stop the bleeding. They gotta go, look, it is what it is. This is what it is. We're gonna finish the special effects and we're just gonna release it and just be done with it. I think the way things have been going, and there's certain people fired, certain people hired, canceling every show, pulling shows that were supposed to come out and pulling them off, like the Batgirl movie, shelving that. I think the only play they have is to just release what they've shot, wipe their hands, and go Big Bang theory, Big Bang time. Their universe is wiped out, and now we're starting over. Over under, is it better or worse than Morbius? See, here's the thing. I think they're going to be good movies. I think Aquaman 2 and I think Flash are going to be good movies. It's unfortunate that they've had to deal with the actors' personal problems. I think the movies are going to be good. I really do believe it. Everything I've seen about Flash and read about Flash, Aquaman, not much has come out about it. But like with regards to Flash, a lot of people were excited about this, and a lot of people said good things about it. And it was supposed to be the thing that like reinvigorates the DC universe, and then Ezra Miller just went into a complete and utter, I don't know. You got to think, a guy that's like in some of the biggest franchises in the world, between Flash, the Harry Potter universe where he plays the dude from the Wizard. What's his name? Whatever. He's in that movie, the Fantastic Beasts movies. Like, he should have everything in the world going for him, and for him to completely just fall up. I don't know. Who am I to say? I don't know. Mental health is a bitch. Some, more money, more problems, I guess. I don't know.
I'll give him that. More money, more problems. But man, oh man. Man, there's been some problems.
Oof. He must have a lot of money. Because there's a lot of problems. Rob says the Flash TV show is ending. Ezra Miller is apeshit crazy. They are going to reshoot the Flash movie with the TV Flash actor. I'm calling it now. I don't think they will. I hate to say it. I don't think they will. I mean, it's different if he was a supporting character, right? If this was the Justice League movie, maybe you could reshoot the Flash's scenes. But the Flash movie,
you're shooting the whole movie.
It's been reported that Ezra Miller was playing multiple versions of the Flash in the same movie. So not only would you be reshooting all of his stuff, but all of his stuff and his stuff, the multiple stuff. That would be too much. They would have, if the film cost $300 million to reshoot it all, would be $200 million. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody says that they're replacing what's her name, Amber Heard, with Amelia Clark. It still hasn't been reported anywhere. It's all deep fake it. That's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna deep fake the whole thing. They're gonna hire those guys from YouTube that deep fake videos. They're like, we need you to put someone else's face on here. Yeah.
That's a multiverse in itself. That's right.
Yeah. They're in a bad dumpster fire. They're in a bad position.
They're in a bunch of bad ways, and I don't even know, like.
They're just,
I'm usually pretty good armchair quarterback of this shit where I'm like, why do they just do this? And it'll be amazing.
Obviously, the right answer is, and it's just like
higher radar. The right answer is higher radar. You know what? Radar don't want his fucking name attached to this shit.
Anyway,
I'm surprised Jason Momoa hasn't been like, nah, dude. I don't want nothing to do. And the fuck, and well, they're still doing Black Adam with The Rock still, right? That's still coming.
That's definitely coming out.
That's like done. That's like ready to be released.
It's done. It's almost out. Yep. That and Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Both of those will be out this year.
I feel really badly for people who gotta like make money off that.
I mean,
because you look at, because we've had a couple WB actors on and actresses.
Yeah.
Fine people.
Yeah.
And they're actually in good shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that stuff going away too?
Well,
or do you know?
So going back to, we had Stargirl.
Yep.
Breck Bassinger. She was on the show.
She's awesome.
The next season is coming out soon. No word if they're going to do more after that, right? Yeah. They're only greenlit for this next season. Considering,
and she alluded to that too when she was here.
Yeah. Considering the trend, like, here's the thing. I enjoy Stargirl. I think it's a very light, fun, rompy kid. It's more aimed at kids, but it's a fun show to just, kind of enjoy. Given the trend of what they're doing with all the shows, it doesn't look good for Stargirl. I mean, it's a show that's been kind of on the bubble, on the better side of the bubble, but still on the bubble. And then you have them axing every other show in existence for DC and properties, and doesn't look good. So I don't know. We'll see. What would you do if you ran WB/DC? Oh God, burn it all down. Burn it to the ground. Build new.
That's what they need to do.
And I think,
I've said that for fucking 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I said that from the very beginning. That they just need to burn it down. And
we talked about this, that the Flash, the rumors were from the beginning that was going to be a soft reboot, right? He was gonna fuck with the timeline, and they were gonna use that as a jumping off point to say, like, hey, we've all new actors, all new stories, because the Flash fucked up the timeline.
Well, they fucking, as somebody who raises chickens, I check out my basket before I put all my eggs in it.
I'm just saying.
Sorry about it. I can't fucking. Woo. Well, that's a hard one there, buddy.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, in fairness too, like I said, we got all these people that really are fine actors and actresses that are trying to eke out an existence in the wasteland that is Hollywood. And they just get fucked over by these prima donnas that are like, fuck it, I'm just gonna kidnap, I'm gonna beat up people in Iceland, and I'm gonna rape kids. What?
Allegedly.
I'm gonna shit in somebody's bed.
Allegedly.
What?
And I'm not trying to get sued over here. Allegedly. Billy Bunting says, save Brandon Routh from the Hallmark Channel.
Fuck somebody,
man. Brandon Routh is such a nice guy. I met him just the other day. I talked with him at the Shore Leave 42 convention, and what a nice guy. What an absolute treasure. I think he's been done wrong a few times in the DC world, man. He got messed up over the Superman stuff, and then the way they did him dirty for Legends of Tomorrow and kicked him like. I'm not gonna say
okay.
I think poor guy. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have an idea. Sell it all to Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Sell all of it to Kevin Feige.
He doesn't want none of that shit. He's got enough on his plate.
But I'm serious, dude. Like, fucking Sony is out here.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing.
Man, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah, I'd call Image Comics. That's right. Somebody.
Anyway.
What? Oh, the dude's Seth. What's his name from
which Seth? Rogen?
Oh, McFarland.
Seth from Image, Spawn's creator. Oh no.
No.
That's Todd McFarlane. You're thinking of Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy.
Yeah, from Family Guy.
Give it to him?
Yeah.
Give him DC, the reign of DC.
Can't fucking do any worse.
I mean, I guess.
I'm just saying.
I guess.
Having Mila Kunis is one of the.
Greg says at this point, shit, give Radar a shot. Let him run it.
Fucking somebody.
That's funny.
I mean, I'd be like, let's make it good. Hey, Radar, what do you think about it? It's better than shit you were putting out 6 months ago. Let's try it.
Hey.
I'll do it for pennies on the dollar from what you're paying them motherfuckers, I promise.
Anyway. All right, guys.
Can you imagine that?
We are at the end of the night. Radar, could you tell the fine folks at home what other things we got going on around here at WTF Station Radio?
They have been listening to CQ and Radar. Him, CQ, me, Radar. Here on Tuesdays with Pop Culture Warrior. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Don's the day. They have no scheduled activities. Okay. Taking the day off. Just hanging out. Doing what we do. Hanging with our families. Thursday, Soren's time. Ice and Spanky. Spanky back yet? Normally Spanky. Okay. Sergeanting. Big Army stuff. National Guard, reserves, retirees, all that stuff. Active Army. Okay. We'll be talking about the real life Purple Hearts. The real life dependopotamuses and whatnots. Okay. That's on Thursday. Friday night freedom. Happens on Friday with Kaz and Pookie. All kinds of funny things going on there. And then Saturday is the official start of the 2022 Sturgis Motorcycle Rally happening just down the road, just that way, from Fob Radar. I should do something live. I should go live from there. Show you guys the downtown, or maybe I'll take my GoPro downtown or something and have some fun with that. Bikini bike washes, whatnot. That's what's going on. Old Radar, gotta get you. There it goes. Anyway, that's Saturday and Sunday, and all next week is a motorcycle rally. And then, while I'm looking at inappropriate things in Sturgis, you guys can come back on Monday for the Monday edition. Ice and Shipwreck's been doing. They'll be here talking about all things current events on Monday. It's aptly named because it's on Monday. It's the Monday edition. Then Tuesday, him CQ, me Radar, right back here for your viewing pleasure.
Yes. And we might have a surprise guest next week. Mum's the word for now. But yes. And then the week after, we're expecting a pretty big guest as well. So things are happening here at the station.
Yes,
we're having lots of changes. We're doing some things, man. We're setting relaunching the podcast network. We're websites back up and running and getting buffed and better. There's so many things happening. I might be working on some super secret projects that I can't talk about quite yet.
Yes.
Maybe the patrons know because supporters get to know that stuff.
Radar show.
radar show right down the road. You know, it is really good time to be a fan of the show. It's really exciting. Like there's some serious cool things happening. Vote for pop culture. Yeah, so Heath said, we are in the running for, once again, podcast awards. Voting is now closed as of July 31st. Thank you to everyone who voted for us. It means the world. I'd love to be the 3-time nominated for Best Entertainment Podcast Award nominee. And who knows? Maybe we win it. Dude, if we win, I'm going to do something really stupid. Like, I'm going to do something really awesome and probably really stupid. I have an idea.
Steve Harvey.
Call out Steve Harvey. No,
you gotta flip off Adam Baldwin.
I saw you flip me off again in person, man.
I know it in your face.
God bless him. Love him.
What a great man. Sorry. CQ and Radar for president. They wouldn't vote me in. They wouldn't vote us in for president.
That president of like the stupid foundation.
President of the stupid house.
Yeah, that would totally work. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. This has been a blast as always. Oh man, there's so much I want to say.
Do it. Say it. Say something.
I can't. There's so much I can't yet. Stay
Just say
tuned.
it, but push this button.
No, somebody, I was gonna do it, and then like somebody will play it back and like read my lips and okay, I got it. Hold on.
It's really long.
Sorry.
That was really long and beepy in my earballs.
There was a lot. There's a lot.
Do you feel better now that you got that off your chest?
I do feel a lot better. I do
then.
feel a lot better having said it. So yeah.
But in all fairness, hey,
tuned.
this is the opportunity for people to step it up and hang out and be here.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be fun.
You will at one day you will be able to say like, yeah, I knew them when. And like I was there from the beginning. I saw the changes. I saw it happen. That's what you'll be able to say that. You right there at home or in your car or drinking your beers or at work, wherever you are. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. I'm so excited. So excited. So many things. All right, guys, we're going to pull the plug on tonight. This has been an absolute pleasure. As always, he is Radar. I am CQ. This has been Pop Culture Warrior. We can't do it without you. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Say goodnight, Radar.
Good night, Radar.
We'll see you guys next week. Shots.
Doc!